welcome to the first week of A to Z in the Morning. My name is Anderson. Alongside me is Zach Orr. We have two awesome producers with us, Jushawn and Taylor. I hope you guys can heard that first part. I was away from the mic. All right, what's up, Taylor? How you doing today?
What's up, guys?
Pretty good. All right, we're so grateful for this opportunity. Like I said earlier, this is our very first episode of A to Z in the Morning here. We're going to be on Sundays from 10 to 12-ish. And also, don't forget, before I go in any farther, if you have a different opinion than us, if you want to talk about something specific, feel free to call in at 864-656-1226. We'll be spitting the number out again throughout the show, but 864-656-1226 to get on the action with us. Now, we've had a great week in sports. I mean, absolutely great. Especially for us Clemson fans, obviously. A lot of us still hungover from last night. We are now on the final day of the MLB. A lot of stuff to go on. I mean, this has been one of the more climatic finishes to the MLB in recent years, especially with a three-team race out there in the AL West. But along that, we saw Max Scherzer do something that nobody's done, no pitcher's done since 1973, so we'll talk about that a little bit more tonight as well. And then we also have a great week, week 4 coming up here. So in some NFL, we're looking to see the Atlanta Falcons hopefully continue their hot streak and go 4-0. Hopefully the Saints can get off their schneid and get their first win this season. I mean, we have had a great college football start. Hopefully Clemson can jump up in the ratings here, or rankings. Unfortunately, obviously we won't have those for you by the end of the show, but they expect them around 6 o'clock tonight. I'm expecting them to be around 7th or 8th at most, or at least, I mean. Mm-hmm. But definitely, so those are some things that I'm looking forward to. Zach, what are you looking forward to a little bit?
Well, listen, I just want to say hi to the Clemson viewers this morning. We really appreciate the opportunity, and we're pretty grateful for it. We're looking forward to jumping on the radio and having a little dual broadcast next week. It's a little bit more, condensed of a show than you're used to seeing on Wednesday nights here. We're looking to get into greater detail and have a good conversation up here this morning. As far as that goes, as far as MLB goes, pretty excited to talk about that. Excited to talk about the NFL, but we're in Clemson, and let's talk about Clemson Notre Dame. Let's talk about that game last night.
Yeah, definitely.
Have you dried out yet?
No, my pants are still hanging over my balcony.
Bad. It's horrendous. Yeah.
It's awful.
Yeah. So I mean, let's break it down. You want to show that Dabo video first?
Yeah, let's see if we can get that up here. Just give me 1 second here.
You saw how emotional Dabo Swinney was a moment ago. He's now with Heather.
Chris, thanks so much, Dabo. Congratulations. What does this kind of a win do for your program?
Well, it makes us 4-0, and it keeps us on track for what we're trying to do, and that's, have a
get the ad out of YouTube. We're too poor to get out.
It's off to Notre Dame. We had them down. They fought back. That's what great teams do. Well coached. And, man, I'm just so proud of our team. That's what it's all about. It ain't always perfect, but what I told them tonight was, listen, we give you scholarships. We give you stipends and meals and a place to live. We give you nice uniforms. I can't give you guts, and I can't give you heart. And tonight, hey, it was BYOG, bring your own guts. And they brought some guts and some heart, and they never quit to the last play. And thank you to the good Lord and my dad who was with me tonight.
And we got the ESPN folks. Now this is exactly what you saw if you're watching ESPN last night. This is exactly what you saw. They just something went wrong in the Sports Center bus down here at Clemson. But
is he using the one finger approach?
He is. He's using the one finger. That's how old people are sometimes. Jesus.
Our screw ups. Play this play. Win this down. And just happy they never quit. But again, great effort by Notre Dame. But let me just tell you, rain, sleet, or snow, Tiger Nation, they showed.
No way. He practiced that one.
Oh, he had to have. Yeah. At half. I don't know if he practiced that because, I mean, he was just as awful this week as he was against Louisville.
No, it was bad.
I mean, he puts shame to everybody here. He puts it's pretty fantastic. How bad of a dancer he really is. Sure. But yeah, I mean, what are your Taylor? Well, I mean, what are your thoughts on the game?
It was a great game. They came out. It was a little iffy at the beginning of the game because Clemson, they like to choke up in big matchups, but they played really well. Had a great start, and so I mean, after the first 2 touchdowns, I was thinking game's over. They're gonna kill them, but then they lost it. Then they came back. Then they lost it. So the momentum was definitely swinging.
Some hard hitting.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, 14-3 at half, and we come out. I mean, we didn't just come out at halftime, on top. I mean, we came out on fire, guns ablaze. I mean, we got the kickoff right away, and then we turned that to a touchdown. I mean, it's 21-3 before you knew it, and then all of a sudden it was 24-16 before you knew it. Going into the fourth quarter. So I mean, it was very. What's the word I'm looking for here? I don't nerve-wracking for us Clemson fans, especially. I mean, that game, in my opinion, was literally something from a movie. Huge hopefully playoff implications here. Going against Notre Dame, one of the most prestigious teams, programs around the world and everything like that. But everything. The game was unreal. You couldn't have asked for a better game. Who were the guys that stuck out in your opinion? Who were the guys?
Well, I think you got to talk about the guys that stuck out in my opinion. Our biggest player last night was DeShone Kizer. I'll tell you right now. That guy accounted for I think 3 out of the 4 turnovers for Notre Dame, and it stinks to have to say that because these are 2 great teams, 2 teams that you wanted to see play. It was a national atmosphere. It was unbelievable. But when it comes down to it, it was a kid that was making his first true start on the road as a sophomore. And it was a man that, it was hard for him to handle the atmosphere. It was rain. It was cold. It was loud in Death Valley last night.
It was, definitely. 127 decibels is I think, the loudest that it got. That's insane. That is some... that's deafening right there. That's very. I couldn't even imagine playing in anything like that. To be honest though, I didn't think DeShone Kizer had that bad of a game.
He didn't. You look at his stat line right now. He threw for 321 yards.
Yeah, he threw for 321 yards, only 1 interception, 2 touchdowns. QBR 56.9 obviously isn't that good, but coming from what is he, a redshirt sophomore or redshirt freshman?
Yeah, redshirt sophomore.
Yeah, yep. Unreal. He did look. I mentioned on the show Wednesday that it's going to come down to see if it's going to come down to the loudness in Death Valley and if DeShone Kizer can get what's the word? Or if he's going to be under pressure or anything. And you saw it in the last 2 minutes. You saw him get skittish. You saw him not exactly know where to go. And I think Notre Dame in general was like that. You can tell that was like Notre Dame's first big game that they had this year for sure, and one of the biggest games they had in the last year too. You just saw. Chris Brown had an unreal game. 4 receptions, 83 yards, and that could have been. He didn't have any touchdowns, but he could have easily had that one where he fumbled on the 2, I think.
Yeah.
And then also he just dropped. After that fumble, he dropped one blatantly wide open in the flat. It was about a 10-yard out. Remember that play? He just blatantly dropped it, and I thought that was amazing to me. You could definitely tell that these guys were not used to the rain, obviously, and no matter how wet the ball was that they used to practice in practice, and they definitely were not used to how loud Death Valley was.
Well, that's all great points, and I agree with them. I think as Clemson fans, we need to be excited about this win. We need to be excited
super excited
about being the number 6 team in the country because it makes us relevant on the national stage for the rest of the season. Every game's important, but our biggest game of the season comes up November 7th when Florida State comes to town. That being said, we are lucky to get out of there with a win last night.
Extremely lucky.
Lucky. It was not good.
That was not good. Being up 21-3.
Yeah.
That can't. And winning 24. Notre Dame outscored us 19-3 in the fourth quarter.
No, I understand that. And
if you go to somebody, if you go before last game and say, yeah, don't tell them the score of the first 3 quarters, but say, yeah, Notre Dame's going to outscore Clemson 19-3 in the fourth quarter.
It's going to be a trouncing.
It's going to be a trouncing. You're not. Clemson's not going to come out with a win. But thank God we outscored them. 21-3 in the first in the first 3 quarters. But other than that, wow. You hit the nail right on the head. We were lucky.
Andy, we're sitting here looking at these stats in front of us on our computers.
Yep.
If you put tape over the names and look at the stat line, who threw for 321 and 2 touchdowns, 9.4 yards, a throw, who threw for 97 and 4.5 a throw.
That's another thing I want to say. DeShone, did not look like DeShone. He did not look dominant.
Not.
Even when he ran the ball. He had 93 yards, don't get me wrong here.
Yeah.
But he did not look good. That was capped off by, a 38-yard run, but DeShone was not DeShone. Granted, it was hurricaning.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Is that the verb for hurricaning?
Joaquining.
Joaquining. Jake Quellening. Anywho, but yeah. I mean, awful conditions to play in. I mean, for a fan, that was awful to sit in. I mean, so much fun. It's going to be very memorable, but awful conditions. Obviously, passing is going to be hard. I mean, and that's one thing that I thought Kaiser did really well for the most part. He passed the ball extremely well. For being a guy thrust into this role after Malik went down.
Sure.
Thrust into a role where you have to go in front of 82,000, I think the attendance was last night, and thrust into a role where it is literally hurricaning, in Death Valley, which is just a bad combination with 127 decibels going into your ear,
sure,
and never being able to draw off your hands. That's a bad combination for quarterback.
Oh, it's a bad combination, but I mean, he did well for what he had
extremely
with
well.
him.
Yes.
And
yes.
if, a couple receivers hang on to 3 or 4 passes, we're having a completely different conversation this morning.
Yeah.
We're talking about how Clemson once again came up short on the national stage. We've yet again proven that stinking Urban Dictionary right, and Clemsoning is a thing. But at this stage, it's not. We're 4-0. We're on Georgia Tech, and it's pretty exciting. And I'm sure there's a lot of Tiger fans out there that are not listening to this right now because, they are passed out after getting home at 5:30 last night.
They won't be up until 2 o'clock. Hopefully they can catch the end of the 1 o'clock. Maybe the end of the 1 o'clock games.
Yeah.
But definitely this is great win for Clemson. You got to be proud. One other thing that I want to mention in Clemson is how much we miss last year's defense. Not just last year's defense, but defensive line. How many times? I mean, Kaiser ran for 60 yards.
Sure.
How many times did our defensive line get in the backfield, but not contain him?
No,
not wrap him up.
Yeah.
I mean, there was one play. I think he had I think it was his 26-yard run. I mean, the longest Kaiser ran for was 26 yards. And I think there was one play, the 26-yard one was, I don't remember who was containing. I was so jacked, but I don't remember who was rushing. Literally, I think it might have been Lawson. Literally missed Kaiser, and Kaiser just went right down the middle, split 2 guys, and I think ran for 26 yards. And I think that was on a 2nd or 3rd down.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that was a huge play in the game, and I mean that wasn't the only time either that our defensive line came up short.
See, I'll agree with you in the fact that the D-line is a place to be desired. When you lose guys like Grady Jarrett and Vic Beasley off that line, there's nothing you can do about it. They're not going to be as good the next year. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Do I think they have the potential to be that good?
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's a deep squad.
Absolutely.
But you can't automatically assume you're going to come up and have 2 NFL talent players, to run around in that backfield.
Yeah.
As far as what you said, I mean, you kind of retracted it a little bit, but the Clemson defense was phenomenal last night. Even though we gave up 19 fourth-quarter points, they were leaned on the entire game. If you look at the game from a third-person perspective and you don't look at it through the orange eyes of a Clemson fan, you see an offense that went out there, scored on the first 2 possessions, made it look easy. But after that, it kind of looked to me that playbook really shrunk. There wasn't much they had in the tank in terms of throwing whatever they could at Notre Dame.
Oh, and you could tell.
Oh, you could. I mean, it was obvious.
It was big time. I mean, Wayne Gallman had 22 carries.
Yeah.
Felt like he had 500.
Oh, it was ridiculous. And
they always. I mean, he had a great game. Don't get me wrong. 98 yards, didn't get a touchdown though. But you are 100% right. The playbook shrunk. It was, a quick handoff to Wayne or maybe a little QB option. A read option with Deshaun, or then a screen pass to Artavis. But other than that, we didn't.
It was the stuff we saw with Morris when he was here, but he had the ability to open it up later in the game. With Morris, he would completely map out his first 2 possessions. He was going to run set plays no matter what on those possessions, and that's what they had for the first 2 possessions, and it worked great, and they scored both times. It was great. We're sitting there at 14-0, and I'm like, we're going to blow out Notre Dame on ABC at 8 o'clock, and it's going to be amazing.
Corso and literally the whole entire College Game Day went against us.
Oh, yeah, and I'm tweeting, I'm calling people from the Hill. I mean, it's great. But then they trot back out for that 3rd possession, and it was a different offense.
Yeah, definitely.
So that comes back around to that Clemson defense. We talked about 19 fourth-quarter points.
Yeah, I
they
mean,
had
other than
3 points for the first 3 quarters.
And I'm not saying like our defense is awful by any means, but I'm saying we miss our defensive line that got things done.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure. I mean, and Taylor, I mean, who do you agree with here? I mean, do you agree with me that our defense was a little bit I mean, obviously it was a lot lackluster in the fourth quarter.
Well,
but we missed some key guys.
Yeah. Last year's Clemson's defense, they were beasts. They could stop everything. But this year, they're killing it. I mean, with what they have, they're killing it. So I think they're doing pretty good.
I mean, yeah, and they are killing it. But once again, this is the first real game that they've played. I want to say that they want it. I want to say that they're going to kill it, but it does scare me a little bit. What happened in the fourth quarter, especially with the condition that went on. When you're up, those conditions favor the defense.
Mm-hmm.
It's not favorable. To be on offense in those conditions, and that's kind of what scares me too, especially in the fourth quarter at home.
Mm-hmm.
At home on a big night, you got to be jacked. You can't let that happen.
I mean, I understand that, but it's a 4-quarter game, and Notre Dame made it a 4-quarter game last night. They came back, and to their credit, not taking anything away from Notre Dame. It's not that the defense didn't play well. Defense played phenomenal most of the night. Notre Dame capitalized on opportunities at the end of the game. You can't take that away from them. They're a good team. They're going to come back as. I don't know if we played the whole Dabo video, but he talks about that. They're a good team. Good teams come back. They find a way to make a run at it, and it just comes down to the fact that we got lucky. We're at home. It was raining. It was monsooning, if you will.
Monsooning.
And we got out there with a win. It's a 2-point win. When we look back, it's still going to be a W next to the game, and we're on Georgia Tech. That's what you got to look at.
And speaking of Georgia Tech, they lost to Duke. 2 weeks ago.
Sure.
They just lost to North Carolina last night.
Sure.
They are not by any means a bad team.
Oh, no.
I cannot believe how bad they're playing, but we cannot by any means sleep on Georgia Tech, because honestly, I think Georgia Tech is if we were to lose a game, Georgia Tech is the team that's going to beat us. I don't think Florida State. Florida State's going to be a great game, but I think we beat Florida State. Honestly, I'm scared, and this was before Georgia Tech was even bad.
Yeah,
Georgia Tech plays hard. They play, they play very scrappy, and we can't stop that. Georgia Tech lost to Duke. Yeah, Georgia Tech lost to Duke, and they lost to North Carolina. Two not very good football programs.
2 basketball programs.
Too bad they lost to 2 basketball teams. But that's the thing. Georgia Tech is not that bad of a team. They were ranked what coming in the
season? They were like 15.
15.
Yeah, they were up there.
That is not a team.
Ranked number 1. Are they still ranked number 1?
They just killed Georgia last week.
Okay, well, first of all, Alabama's a good program. They beat Georgia 38-10. Okay, and Georgia is ranked number 8.
Yeah. All
right, but anywho, Georgia Tech is not that bad of a team, and we cannot take them lightly. We need to prepare like they're a top 10 team, and we should do that for every team, especially for Georgia Tech, because I do believe they had the potential to be top 10.
Let's talk Georgia Tech in a second, but let's continue talking Notre Dame Clemson here for a moment.
All right, sorry, I thought you were segueing.
No, it's all right. I just remember something I really want to talk about. The kicking game. Kicking game, not exactly believable last night for the Clemson side.
Is it ever?
It was at times last year. It was not bad with Lakeep in there, kicking his full time until he decided to, get pulled over this summer with a little substance.
But even last year, I did not believe in Lakeip. I did not.
Let me ask, do you believe in Greg Hugel?
No.
All right, so
I don't. Extra point wise, yeah. Lakeip had trouble with extra points though.
I understand that.
Lakeip had trouble. Clemson, ever since the Catman, Clemson has not been. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, Hugel attempted a 40-yarder last night? And kicked it about 25 yards?
Against the wind.
With the
wind and rain.
Wasn't a pretty kick.
It was okay. By no means.
A pretty kick.
By no means was that a pretty kick. And honestly, that kick could have changed the game. I thought if we made that kick, we would have won no matter what. Granted, we won, but when we missed that kick, I was sweating. I sweating pretty bad.
Again, you got to talk about special teams. This is a team that's deep on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. But special teams, you're coming up 1 for 2 on kicks last night. You can't get a touchback to save your life with the wind or without the wind.
That's true. And you know what? One thing that I kind of want to add too is Lakeip was phenomenal on kickoffs.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really judge a kicker by he can really change a game by a kickoff. That doesn't happen usually, but he did.
With Clemson, you have to, because we can't cover anybody
That's true.
on the kickoff.
That's true. 100% true. But I'm saying Lakeip had a great kickoff.
Yeah,
game
no,
last night.
he
You know,
did.
You know, he forced that fumble. Coming out of the second half. And I don't know. Maybe they go with Lacob in this practice, and we see how he does.
It's the same story that has been with Dabo throughout his Clemson career. He loves a good story. He loves the seniority of the moment. So if someone has, quote-unquote, earned a spot, they're going to keep that spot, even if they probably shouldn't. You have somebody behind them that's going to be better, a la Cole Stout and Deshaun Watson last year.
God. I couldn't believe that.
This
Honestly,
is the same kind of situation to me. Hugh has earned the spot over the first 3 weeks of football.
By default, though.
By default, because, of his suspension. But I think it should open the door for Lakeheap to be kicking at 3:30 next week against Georgia Tech.
I sure hope
it has to. So.
I mean, you got to go. I mean, I agree with Dabo, and you got to give seniority, where seniority's due. But at the end of the day, you're here to win ball games. You're not here to please people. You're not here to say, all right, well, you've earned it for the long haul. Even though he's better than you, I'm still going to go with you. No, I mean, you got to. That's one thing. Urban Meyer is, with Ohio State. I don't mean change, teams again, but he's sticking with Cardell, even when Cardell has kind of, not been nearly as what he was. And we'll get into Ohio State and other college football later. But I honestly think Dabo is very, very, very traditional. I mean, you can tell that by the uniforms we wear.
Yeah.
You can tell that about how our guys don't get on, or not supposed to be on Twitter, even though they were. With that whole controversy with Notre Dame tweeting at us. But Dabo's very traditional, and he needs to stick with guys. You do need to stick with guys, but you need to stick with the best guys.
I understand that, and I think it's kind of a hindrance towards the program at times.
Definitely.
Just because of his stubbornness, if you will, to stick in a certain role. I think you need to be critical of that. He's a man that he listen. All credit to him. He sticks by his beliefs. He does. He goes about a certain way, and he does not go another way. That's just what he's going to do.
And he doesn't care what people say.
And that's fine. But as our job here, we're going to talk about him, and we're going to be critical of him. It's what we're supposed to do. It's what we should do.
Definitely.
I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's the best coach in the country, because he's absolutely not.
He's getting up there.
I don't. From an X's and O standpoint, no.
No, definitely not. But from the way he makes guys play.
Absolutely. I mean, he's a motivator.
He is.
And that's fine.
He is. Nick Saban's a recruiter.
Yeah.
Urban Meyer's just all around awesome. Honestly,
Big Urban Meyer fan this morning. I didn't know about that.
Urban Meyer, I mean, Urban Meyer is the best coach in college football right now.
You think so?
Right now. He's the best recruiter. He's the best X and O guy. I mean, look what he's done at Ohio State. He's lost, one game?
Yeah.
Come on.
Who did he lose that game to?
Virginia Tech. But still.
Yeah. No, I mean, I understand. I think that as far as Clemson goes, fans give him a pass because of his 4 10-win seasons. And that's great. But if he wants to demand excellence, he demands the best. A Clemson standard is the phrase he uses all the time.
Yeah. Win
games. Just keep winning.
And he's doing that.
And that's fine. Let's keep winning.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Let's talk about a little bit of the action elsewhere outside of Death Valley this week.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's start with something I really want to talk about. Let's start with TCU just dismantling
Texas. My God.
Oh, it was bad.
I hate blowout games. I think, honestly, they're one of the most boring games to watch, but I watched TCU for as long as I could.
Mm-hmm.
TCU's offense is the best offense in the country.
You think so?
I do. I really do. Their defense, obviously not even close to being where they need it to be if they want to be a championship contender, but their offense is ridiculous.
Look at his stat line.
I just turned to it.
20 for 35, 332 yards, 5 touctouchdowns.
And that is with pretty much equal possession as Texas. Texas, I'm looking at here, 29.26 or 29 minutes 26 seconds. TCU 30 minutes 34 seconds. They had roughly about a minute more, just a little bit over a minute, and Boykin was able to throw for 332 yards. Aaron Green was able to rush for 70 yards. Boykin was able to just add another 52 yards on top of his 332 yards. 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. unreal.
All right, so we can agree that TCU offense is fantastic. You're making the statement that they're the best in the country. That's fine.
Unreal.
That's fine. They're the best in the country. I'll give you that.
604 total yards.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I think they're fantastic.
604 total yards.
But
we
this
didn't
isn't
even have 500 total yards.
Anderson, you're not listening to
in
me.
the Notre Dame Clemson game. I'm sorry. Go on.
This isn't the story out of that game. The story is Charlie Strong doesn't have a team anymore. That Texas team is bad.
Awful.
I mean, not good, just bad.
Not just.
I mean, when you have players tweeting at halftime they want to transfer, I mean, you know you've lost a team. When you have the Texas Rangers, the baseball program or baseball team in the state, saying fire Charlie Strong on their Twitter,
That's a problem.
it's bad.
That's a problem.
I mean, you've lost the team. I understand he did things the right way coming in, and as an outside perspective, you looked in and you were like, wow, he's cleaned up that program. They had how many players walk away from the program after he took over from Max Strong? And it was, all right, they're taking a step in the right direction. They're moving away from the booster-driven Vince Young days, and they're coming into a new age of Texas football. And it was like, all right, so Texas is going to be relevant again. And I don't know if they're going to be because it's a long, long path back. They're 1-4 right now.
They lost 50-7, and Texas only committed one turnover.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is one turnover. I mean, granted, like I said earlier, TCU's defense is not that good. They just gave up 313 yards and 20 first downs and only one turnover against the Texas team that should not. I don't.
They haven't. The TCU has never had a traditionally good defense.
They have not. You even look at last year. Last year's. I mean, they have one of the best offensive teams.
I mean,
and a defense that let them down.
Well, Gary Patterson's always recruited for offense, and that's fine. He's
fine.
given him success. I mean, last year obviously did not when he was sitting at 5 looking at the top 4 teams in. We can talk about that. But, I mean, they haven't had a good defense since, if you recall, years ago. That linebacker that painted his face for every game and ran around with his head cut off. I mean, he was a monster out there.
I don't get that. I mean, I was talking with some people who were actually talking. We're on the subject of TCU, obviously, before TCU smacked the crap out of Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking, you are a Division I school.
Yeah.
You're a Division I school.
Sure.
Getting up there in the ranks of, college football programs, Andy Dalton and the TCU crew who were in the Rose Bowl that year, a couple years ago.
I hate Andy Dalton, by the way, just so that's out there. The fact that he's a marquee player for that program upsets me. As a Browns fan, I know you understand that. I'm just letting you know.
Andy Dalton's garbage.
He's not garbage.
Yes,
he's not garbage.
He's not good at all.
He's not garbage.
You're right. The fact that I said Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton and the TCU Frogs really got this program going, which he did.
Yeah.
All credit to him. He did get this program going. But TCU, going back to what I was going to say, TCU's is a Division I school with an up-and-coming program. A lot of people should be excited to go to play TCU. How in the world do you have Division I athletes not being able to play defense? I don't think that's the athletes. I don't think that's the players that you recruit. That's the system.
That's Charlie
There's
Strong.
no way.
Yeah.
There's no way. And I'm talking about TCU.
You're saying going to play TCU?
No, I'm saying playing TCU. Like TCU is a team.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying there's no way that you can have Division I athletes and have that bad of a defense year in and year out. Because that's what stops TCU from being a great team. They're ranked 4, and I bet that they're ranked 2. I think Michigan State's going down after barely beating Purdue. Yeah. I think obviously Ole Miss is going down. Thank God. Thank God.
We'll talk about that later.
We'll get in that later.
We'll talk about it later. Yeah.
But TCU, the one thing that holds them back, and Taylor, if you agree with me here, TCU, the one thing that holds them back is having a good defense.
That's true. The old saying is offense can win games, but defense wins championships. It can only get you so far.
It can only get you so far. I agree 110% with that.
I don't agree.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
I don't agree.
Okay.
Because offense wins games, defense wins championships. That's a great saying.
That is
that's steeped in tradition.
Shut up, hold on. I'm gonna guess what you're gonna say. Here. What is the championship? Just a game?
Okay.
It's just another game?
No, what I'm gonna say is it's a new age in college football.
Yes, it is.
We don't run the ball, 60 times a game and throw the ball 10 times a la Georgia Tech like everybody else in the country. I mean, it's spread them out, throw the ball, huck it around, right?
Yeah.
We're going to score big. We're seeing score lines you've never seen before. You're seeing huge points put up week in and week out by almost every team in the country because offense wins championships now. Defense is a great commodity to have, but it's not a necessity. I think TCU deserved to be in the playoff last year. I mean, it's unfortunate they didn't make it, but they deserve to be in there.
Whose offense was, or whose defense was better? Going back to the championship game last year, whose defense was better? Ohio State, or whose offense was better? Sorry, Ohio State's or Oregon's? Going into the game, who would you say had the upper edge in offense?
In offense? Well, you have to go Oregon. They're traditional powerhouse in
Whose
offense.
defense was better?
Ohio State was, yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely.
For sure. Who won the championship?
I understand that, but we're talking about getting in the dance right now. And to get in the dance, TSU is well on their way.
No. Okay. I'm not sure if you misheard me or something. You might be over there and thinking, not listening, open up your ears.
Not listening.
I said TCU is an up and coming program, but
Yeah.
the thing that's holding them back from being a great program, being a championship contender, is their defense, which it is.
I understand that, but you can.
They will not win a championship. They will
gave
not
up
win a
300
championship.
yards, right?
313 yards.
And how many points they give up?
They give up 7.
How many points did they give up?
But this is
How many points did they give up?
You know what?
7, right?
This is the Texas Longhorns,
That's
who are now
fine.
1-4.
The Texas
Who are now
Longhorns.
0-2 in the conference and have not been to a relevant bowl since Vince Young.
This is the Texas Longhorns that have their own network, a huge booster community, and a huge, huge pull to go to that university. They still recruit top 15, top 10 classes every year. These aren't bad players they're trotting out there. They're unmotivated players. They're teams that don't want to play for their current system because it's too hard, it's too this, it's too that. They're good players. They're recruited from the big dog. Absolutely, they are.
They're good players.
Absolutely.
All right, who's the last big name Texas player?
That's not what I'm talking about.
But if they're good players, they should be they should be high draft picks. They should translate well to the NFL.
How do you get drafted high in the NFL?
You're a good player.
You have a good college career, right?
And yet, because you're a good player.
Yeah, no, I understand that absolutely. But if you're not playing in the right system, how can you be successful?
And whose fault is that?
That's the coach. That's what we're
It's
talking
exactly
about.
the coach.
That's why I
But
brought
no,
up Charlie Strong
but
being
listen,
being a
whose
liability.
fault is it that they're at Texas? That is their fault. That is their decision.
It is.
And
but
you wanna know why?
I'm
'Cause
defending the fact that
Because
they're
they didn't
high
go to
recruits.
Alabama. They didn't go to programs like Alabama.
Don't
who's
talk
going
to
to
me
make them
about
NFL
Bama.
players.
Don't talk to me about
They're
Bama
not
right
going
now.
to play. They're not going to programs like LSU. They're not going to
Don't.
programs like even Clemson for the most part.
Yeah.
They're not going to Ohio State. They're not
Yeah.
going to Oregon. They're not going to Stanford. They're going to Texas.
Sure.
Texas is no longer relevant on the NCAA stage. I'm sorry, but they're not. You can throw out the Longhorns all you want, but they are no longer relevant in the NCAA stage. And I hope that changes. I really do. Texas had a great run at being, one of the top teams for a very, very long period of time. But they are no longer relevant on the NCAA stage.
Well, it's the same kind of thing we saw with Michigan. Michigan was. You turned on as a kid. You watch football.
Big time.
And you
come
turned
from
it
Ohio.
on?
Coming from Ohio, being a huge Ohio State fan.
Yeah.
Before I came to Clemson.
So now we know why you like Urban. But go ahead.
All right. And anywho, maybe a little biased, but anywho, I grew up loving Michigan, and you
turn on the
100%
TV
right.
and you're like, Lloyd Carr and Michigan are playing this weekend.
Yep.
I'm watching that game.
The game. When I think of Michigan, and I think of the year Ohio State was number 1, Michigan was number 2, going into that rivalry week, and honestly, ever since then, Michigan has not been good.
Oh, I understand that, and that's kind of what I'm trying to implement here with this Texas conversation. There was a time, we talk 2005. We talk Vince Young.
Not Vince Young. Vince Young.
The Vince Young, who was just dynamite at Texas.
Unreal.
And that was a team where they're playing on national television, and you're flipping around and you're like, well, we're watching that game. I mean, we have to watch that game. They're gonna be talked about all day tomorrow. I gotta know how they did. And I think Michigan obviously is not there yet. They're ranked now. They're 22 in the country, but Harbaugh is creating that mindset again. He's creating the mindset of Michigan's playing. I'm seeing those striped helmets. I kind of want to watch them play again.
Exactly. I mean, that is 100%. And I saw this stat the other day. Michigan is 4-1. The last 3 weeks, they've gotten a win. And the last 3 weeks, they have held a team under 115 yards per game.
Really?
Total yards of 115. I'm pretty sure was the stat. They held Maryland 105 yards a game, or per game last night. Not per game. They played one time. 105 yards. 105 total yards last night.
And I'm not saying Michigan's back by any means, because Maryland's awful.
Maryland is god
Just
awful.
not
They went
good.
But I mean, where there's smoke, there's fire for the most part.
Hey, where there's smoke is their uniforms. They were dynamite. Did you see their uniforms?
Maryland's?
You got to get a picture for the audience out here.
All right, let's see.
I'll tell you right now.
All right, but anywho, as I'm looking this up, Michigan is 22. Michigan's ranked 22. That is very quietly ranked team.
Well, they have one bad loss, or not even bad loss. They have a one good loss to a Utah team that's been pleasantly surprising on the college football landscape this year.
Was it these ones right here?
It's all black. No. Once again, Michigan's last night.
I'm trying to find them.
I think it might be those, maybe. Yeah, Black Ops. That's what it was.
If I can get this.
But that being said, Michigan, like I said, lost to Utah. In Utah what is Utah up to now? They're a top 10 program?
Utah, no way. I don't think they're top 10 yet, are they?
I'm pretty sure they are, man.
All right, I can't get this full screen, so I get just look it up. Maryland's uniforms, pretty awesome.
They were.
Speaking of uniforms, Ohio State's wearing all black uniforms for the first time in franchise history.
I don't know why.
Franchise history,
came,
program history.
I don't know why you came to Clemson if you're such a big Ohio State fan.
I'm allowed to love not just Ohio State, but good college football programs. And Ohio State is a good college football program. And while we're on the topic of uniforms, I was going to spit out the uniform trivia that came out last night.
Go ahead.
So sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't need to go ahead anymore.
Go ahead.
That was my time. Okay, they are having all black uniforms for the first time in program history. What is? Just go to Ohio State because you want to talk about.
Well, I mean,
no.
We're talking about Clemson. We're talking about Texas. We're talking about Michigan. We're talking about all these other teams, and you keep bringing it back.
If there's relevant points
to the Buckeyes,
if there's relevant points
to the Buckeyes,
I will. Okay, fine. Am I a Bama fan because I've talked about Bama last couple of times?
No, you're an Ohio State fan because of your Cleveland roots. Your awful Ohio roots, by the way, just awful.
We'll talk about that. I'm a Cleveland Indians fan.
We'll talk about that later. But
we will talk about.
How many games you been to in the Horseshoe?
Don't worry about it.
How many games you been to?
Don't worry about
How many? Tell the audience at home.
I don't know. None.
Enough that has maybe surpassed your Clemson games?
Okay, this is my second year.
I'm throwing that out there.
This is my second year Clemson, okay?
Sure. So you're at what?
I had 18 years of enjoyable Ohio State games. But I tell you what, last night's game, last night's Clemson game versus Notre Dame was the best sporting event that I have ever been to. Granted, I'm a Cleveland fan, okay? Keep that in mind for you watching at home. I am a Cleveland fan, but last night's game was unreal. Best game I've ever been to. Best game I probably would have watched on TV.
Sure.
You know, we talked about it long enough. I mean, that game was unreal. But going back to Michigan and Maryland here, Michigan is coming back. And to be honest, the Big Ten is slowly and I mean slow. Northwestern, 27 beat Minnesota 27-0. They're 16th. They're going to be moving up. Michigan State 24-21. They're number 2, but they're going to be moving down a little bit. But they're still ranked. Ohio State's going to still be number 1. Michigan's going to move up. Maybe crack the top 20. Iowa.
What about Iowa? Talk to me about Iowa.
Iowa's 5-0.
I understand that.
They're going to be ranked. They're going to be in the top 25. I'm telling you that right now.
I appreciate the Michigan. I appreciate the Big Ten in general. I'm always going to be a strong anti-Big Ten guy.
Which a lot of people are going to be, which is perfectly fine.
Based on the fact Rutgers is in that conference.
The what?
Rutgers, as a Jersey guy, don't like Rutgers.
Vanderbilt's in the SEC.
I'm sure do you like Vandy?
Not in football.
All right, so
I'm just saying.
You're
allowed to have bad teams.
What I'm saying is, they have programs that people just don't like. They have the whole ACC doesn't like Maryland now because of them leaving the ACC. Nobody likes Maryland, right? Nobody likes Rutgers because Rutgers is just abysmal in everything they do. They can't keep players on the team. They keep kicking coaches and suspending them, the whole nine. Obviously, you have the big old black eye that is Penn State.
Oh, my God.
So, I mean, Penn State's a 4-1 team right now.
Yeah, I mean, Penn State.
I mean, they're a good conference, and they're going to be relevant on the stage. You name some of the programs: Iowa, Northwestern, Illinois at 4-1.
Illinois,
and
what's the point of that S?
Illinois, I don't know.
I hate it.
Do you?
I hate that S.
As a Midwestern guy, I understand you probably hating that S more than most of the country.
Why? There's no point. That's like dumb. What's the point of the B? Dumb. You don't say dumb.
I understand.
Anywho, this isn't a freaking grammar show, but still, pisses me off.
Hey, listen, I didn't know it was such a big sticking point for you.
Hold on a second. Hold on one second.
Let's take a look at Taylor real quick.
Hey guys,
How you doing, buddy?
I totally agree with everything you've said,
Oh, sweet. What were you playing over
except for the S. Illinois deserves the S because, I mean, I'm an Illinois guy.
Are you really?
Well, I'm not from Illinois, but my dad is, so I go there every year all the time.
You're fighting Illini.
Oh yeah, U of I all the way.
there? You have I. Is that mini clip you got up over there, Taylor? Or what do you got going on?
No, I'm just checking my fantasy team.
See, okay, all right.
Keeping up to date on the Jets-Dolphins game.
Is that like a
which
virtual?
I can give you an update on.
Please, by all means.
Which
we'd
is
love
the Jets are beating the Dolphins 13-7 right now.
to. Okay.
Which is surprising. Well, the Jets have been up 13-0 for pretty much the whole game, and the Dolphins just scored. So let's see how that plays out.
Did your boy Eric Decker make it into the game, or is he out?
Oh yeah, he did. Good. But he has 5 yards. Nope, he got another catch, so now he has 31.
Hey, how about that?
Hey.
Was it about 3 points for you?
Yes.
Nice.
It's an 18-team league. 3 points are the best.
18 teams?
18 teams?
Yeah.
That's
You guys want to
awful.
hear my starting lineup?
Yeah.
Cam
we got
Newton,
time.
James Starks, Fozzie Whitaker, Eric Decker, Randall Cobb, Benjamin Watson, Bilo Powell. That's my starting lineup.
Bilo Powell?
Fozzie Whitaker?
Yep.
Are you kidding me?
Nope.
18 teams are not 18 teams. You have to find guys that are better than those two that
That
are
is
Well,
named.
abysmal.
my first round draft pick was Arian Foster. And
Oh,
my
really?
league manager wanted to do our draft in the middle of June.
Why?
So,
That's when you had your draft.
Hey, who picked
Yep.
who picked Jordan Nelson?
I think it was the league manager.
Adam,
So
he deserved
That
it.
is
Yeah,
karma
he
at its
deserves it.
finest. That is karma at its finest.
He deserved it.
All right,
Yeah.
but let's wrap up college football real quick.
Is there anything else you want to talk about in college football? We can talk about Michigan State squeaking by Purdue. We can talk about
No, because
we can talk about your Buckeyes squeaking by Indiana.
No, we don't need to talk about my Buckeyes. My
We-
Buckeyes speak for themselves. You know, another scare, another close call to a team that should not have been a close call. Anywho, I was going to talk about Florida State, if you don't mind, in ACC.
I mean, if you want to talk ACC football, we can talk Big Ten all day if you want to. I know that's your conference. That's your home turf.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, my home turf. I got roots in Clemson now. Okay,
Oh,
I
you-
was named after Anderson, South Carolina.
Is
Fun fact of the day.
Folks, that is not true.
That
As I
is
look you in the
100%
eyes
true.
right now, that is not true.
That is 100%
That's
true.
not
Next week
true
I'll
at
have
all.
my mother call in.
Get her on the horn right now.
Get her on the,
Get her
no.
on the horn right now.
No.
Hey, speaking of calling in, guys, you want to get part of the show, if you don't agree with anything we're talking about, 864-656-1226. Please give us a call.
If you want to make fun of Zach, if you want to agree with all my opinions, because most of the time they're spot on.
By all means.
Spot on. 864-656-1226.
If you want to talk about Taylor's awful fantasy team,
Yeah.
please call in.
You know what, Taylor? I was about to cut over to you again.
Was he playing?
What are you playing?
What are you talking
What
about?
are you playing? Don't
You
mess
guys,
with us
stop
right now.
checking my fantasy
What are
team.
you playing?
I'm not
You
gonna-
guys are crazy.
No. Listen, we got till 12 o'clock. We got all kinds of time to wait for you. What are you playing?
You guys are crazy.
Yeah, all right, fine. All right, let's move on.
Wait. We didn't talk about one thing. Florida, Mississippi.
I don't know how we didn't even talk about that. Was okay. That was the first thing I want to talk about after Notre Dame, Clemson. But yeah, Florida, Mississippi. I got 2 words. 2 words that sum up that game.
Okay.
Thank God.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
It is about time that Ole Miss went down into the hands of Florida, no less. I mean, Florida is another one of those programs that are that need to come up.
Mm-hmm.
But it is about time. I mean, thank the Lord Ole Miss went down and Chad Kelly finally got a loss, because this Ole Miss team is not that good.
You don't think so?
I do not think they're that good.
I think they have a.
The fact that they jumped from 15 to 3,
Oh, that was
unreal.
the SEC bias that we've grown accustomed
Ole
to.
Miss is good. Okay, no, when I say they're not that good, they're not 3. They are not number 3.
I think Ole Miss is realistically a 10-win team. I could see them being a 10-win team.
I can see them being a 10-win team, but I do not see them cracking the top 10.
I mean, we
get a poster.
we look at Ole Miss.
Hey, just hold it up there.
I got it.
At
yeah.
casual. Don't even know.
No, that's fine. They finish out their season. You go to New Mexico State. That's a
Hold it the
W.
whole time.
I'm holding it.
Yeah,
I'm
somewhere.
holding it. No, I got it.
You know what, Taylor? Why don't you just go back to playing?
Hey,
games,
what are you playing
okay?
over there?
I'm playing a game.
I got my producer yelling at me about holding the thing he just handed to me. I don't know what you want from me.
Just set it down.
Our producer's yelling at
Lean
us
it up against something.
for holding a sign while he goes back to playing his games.
I'm not. I'm watching the Dolphins and the Jets NFL Game Center. That's what I'm doing.
Okay, all right. Well, can we talk about Ole Miss for 1 second?
We can talk about Ole Miss. I still getting Taylor a hard time.
10-win team. They have LSU and Mississippi State, who I can see them be. Our Texas A&M. That's fine. But everything else, they're New Mexico State. They're Memphis. Auburn's been bad this year. Arkansas is a trailer, just a dumpster fire. They're a good team. That being said, I'm not ready to say Florida's back. I don't want to say that because I don't think they are.
I'm not going to say it, but I think, like I said, they're one of those teams that are.
They're 5-0.
They're 5-0. Correct. I mean, they're going to be top 20. I'm guessing. I think they'll jump up 5 spots after beating Ole Miss.
You think, how far does Ole Miss drop?
I think Ole Miss will drop to like 8 or 9.
Let me ask you this: is Clemson in front of them?
Clemson will be in front of them. I think Clemson's going to be 7 or 8.
Okay.
And I think Ole Miss is going to either be 8 or 9.
Why? I mean, obviously, there's a lot of fans out there today that maybe aren't listening to this show, but they're still out there, and I'm speaking for them on their behalf.
And they're sleeping right now.
Want Clemson to swap spots with Notre Dame?
No. Oh, Notre Dame. I thought you were about to say Ole Miss.
Not Ole Miss. I don't think they're top 3.
No, I don't. I want that to happen because obviously that's better than what I'm guessing. But let's look. UCLA went down.
Sure.
Let's look here. UCLA went down. Florida State won. Okay, so Florida State's gonna give them a run for their money, and they're above, Notre Dame. Granted, they beat Wake. Okay, they beat Wake. Okay. Let's talk about Wake. I just want to say one thing real quick. Pathetic. Okay, not just the team, but the fan base.
It's Wake
You have
Forest.
a top 25 team, a top 10 program.
Yeah.
Florida State's ranked 11, and you can barely fill the lower 5 rows in your stadium for that game. Get out of here. Get out of the ACC. Get out of college football. Get out of the NCAA athletics.
Let me ask you this.
NCAA athletics. I just like.
No, I
National
wasn't.
Collegiate Athletic
I wasn't jumping on you
Association
about that. I was jumping on you the fact that
I know, but still.
we're at Clemson. When's the last time that you saw Little John full for a basketball game?
Last year, didn't we have North Carolina?
It wasn't
Notre
full.
Dame.
I don't even know
Notre
if it
Dame,
was
that's
full.
the one.
But week in and week out, I've been here 4.5 years.
Yeah,
I've gone to like 6 basketball games
yeah.
because they're not a good team.
Okay, but you look at Wake Forest. Basketball, they don't sell out.
They do more basketball than they do football. They're a basketball school than they are football.
They are, yes, they are a basketball school, but they do not sell out of basketball.
I understand that.
Still,
That's just
they
your-
do not do
that's
it-
your
they do not
fan
baseball,
base.
But still, you look at all. I mean, what's the main sport in not only America but in college sports? It's football. And when you have a top 25 team, 11 in FSU, and you cannot even fill the lower parts of the lower deck, that is not. That's unreal.
What do you want? You want me to go up there and talk to him about it?
No, I just think it's pathetic. Anywho, UCLA went down, Georgia went down. That's 7 and 8 right there. LSU won. They're 9
Over Eastern Michigan?
over Eastern Michigan.
Eastern Michigan? The powerhouse?
A quality win.
That is a quality win.
Baylor absolutely smacked Texas Tech. Michigan State is going to go down a little bit. Northwestern's going to rise a little bit. I don't know. I can see that Notre Dame obviously had 6 went down. I can see, looking at this a little bit closer, I can see Clemson going 6, but I don't see them going any higher than 6.
I mean, I agree with you. I think they're gonna be 7 or 8. We talked about that before the show even started. They're gonna be 7 or 8. Yeah.
Really?
And I think people are gonna be upset about that. We played national game, yada yada. It's Notre Dame, whatever.
But think about it. We jumped. We're going to jump about 5 spots. That's okay. If we can
No,
jump.
that's fine. But at the same time, it's still Notre Dame. It's still a team that's perennially overranked.
I think we should jump Florida State. Florida State being 11, we're 12 right now. I think we should jump Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
We should jump Ole Miss.
Okay.
We should jump UCLA. We should jump Notre Dame, obviously.
Okay.
So we're going to be jumping a lot of quality teams here. Don't get me wrong. I could see us at best. At best, I think we might get 5, but no way.
You've gone up 3 spots since we started talking about this.
7 or I know. 7 or 8 is where I'm saying. I'm sticking to 7 or 8.
You're
I'm saying,
talking yourself into the number 1 spot in the country right now.
You know what? Thinking
You-
about it now,
you really are.
That was a really good win for us. Ohio State did not have that convincing of a win. I could see us at best.
Talking
at
us.
best. being number one.
You hear that?
Best.
You hear that, AP? We're number one.
AP, we're number one.
Anderson said so. Put us down.
Taylor, what do you think of what do you think of Clemson? What are their chances?
I think 7 or 8 is a pretty good idea. Definitely being number one in the ACC, but I wouldn't get too much of your hopes up.
I wouldn't get too much of the hopes up either, obviously. But I think 7 or 8. But I'm allowed to dream. I'm a dreamer.
You're a dreamer. You always have been, Anderson. Yeah. Let's make a smooth, flawless transition from college football, and let's talk about some NFL.
Definitely.
Can we get a quick update on that Jets game, Ro? Anything happen?
Nope. Still 13-7. Jets have the Dolphins have the ball. 4th and 1. They're about to punt off.
All right. For those of you that don't know, that game is happening right now. It kicked off at 9:30 in London. Is it at Wimbledon? Is it not Wimbledon? Wembley.
Wembley, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Actually, I just one thing real quick. The NFL is so kind to London. You know, we go there one game every year.
Sure.
And London couldn't have asked for a better game. You know. And yeah. I'm trying to say this with a straight face here.
Hey, man, get you going. Go ahead.
London has to be just absolutely thrilled with the game NFL picked. The New York Jets, who were abysmal the last 100 years. And Miami Dolphins, who did get Dominican Sue.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they did get a big name guy. The New York Jets and the Miami Dolphins is the best we can send to London. We can't even get them a quality game.
No. I mean, why would you want to? No, does those games sell out?
I see why people hate America.
Do they sell out?
I don't know. Do they sell out? Taylor, do you have information on that?
Producer, can we talk about that?
I don't know if they sold out, but you guys are definitely cutting the Jets short, big time.
What are we cutting the Jets short?
The Jets are
they're a circus.
They probably have one of the best wide receiver cores in the league right now since they added Brandon Marshall to the team.
Okay.
That is a fair point. Their running backs aren't that great. Quarterback issue is getting a little rough, but Ryan Fitzpatrick has really stepped up for him.
You know what? Fine. Let's talk about the Jets. We'll talk about.
Let's start with the Jets. Let's look at their wins first of all. They're 2-1. Let's look at the wins.
Okay. Go
for
ahead.
A second.
Go ahead. No, fine. Go ahead.
They beat the prestigious Cleveland Browns in the home opener.
Coming from a Cleveland fan.
31-10. Attendance of 78,000.
Yeah, that was.
Chris Ivory is a good running back. He is one of the league's best up and coming running backs. But let's move on. Second win. New York Jets beat Indianapolis. A very good team, supposed to be. Andrew Luck having 4 turnovers in that game.
Yeah.
And another thing, looking at this, 78,000 fans for the Cleveland Brown game, 65,000 fans for the Indianapolis games. I think New York has spoken who they really want to see New York play.
Okay.
Anywho.
Let's listen.
And my point is, Indianapolis is not that good right now. I think they're a lot better than what they're supposed to be. I think Indianapolis was my preseason, Super Bowl contender.
Okay.
They have been lackluster. Andrew Luck isn't playing this week, and then they lost to our other producer, Sean's Philadelphia Eagles last week.
You're an Eagles fan? Are you kidding me? No, sir.
He's an Eagles fan.
No, sir.
He's from Philly. Aren't you from Philly? Where are you from?
Where are you from?
You're from Columbia, and you're an Eagles fan. But you're a 76ers fan, too. Yeah, I'll give it to you.
Sixers are awful.
Yeah.
Oh, they're so bad.
It weighs out.
Okay, let's not get away from what we were trying to talk about.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Jets.
Yeah.
We can talk about the Jets. We can talk about they have the best cornerback tandem in the league. Cromartie and Revis.
Definitely.
All right. They have, as he mentioned, great wide receivers, Marshall and Decker. Yeah. That's great. They have a good defensive line, and they have a strong. They always have a strong defense.
They have a strong defense.
That's what it has become the norm in New York for the Jets. That being said, this is still a team we were talking about at the beginning of this season.
Let's just get this in the way here.
Getting their quarterback punched out in the locker room and losing him for 5 weeks. This is still a team where we're talking about that is still recovering from the madness that was Rex Ryan being in New York for 5 years. Was he there that long?
Too long.
This is still a team that has Brandon Marshall telling the media they're all racist and they're this, they're that. He's calling his lateral last week the worst play in NFL history. This is still a team that is trotting out Ryan Fitzpatrick And his phenomenal mustache and beard. I don't know if you've got a glimpse of that over the course of the season. Maybe the best muzzy beard combination we've ever seen.
Brian Wilson, I think, still has it.
Honestly, I don't think so. This is just it's some next level stuff. That being said, they're still 2-1. They're still, they're not going to win that division. New England's going to run away with the AFC East. But it's still a team that demands you watch them, and I think someone in London can appreciate that. It's clean cut. That's what I'm saying. Look at it. It's clean cut. That's not him.
That's not.
No. But you look at it right there.
Put it on the screen.
Yeah, we're putting it on the screen. It's going up. There it is.
Yeah, this is the best I can do here for you. You get the top left. You folks at home get the top left. What a beard! Not nearly as good as Brian Wilson.
It's a little longer now, and I think it's better. It's just better. I don't know how you can disagree with that.
We want to talk beards though.
We don't need to talk beards.
Let's talk beards.
We don't need to talk beards.
Let's talk beards. Look at that thing. Grizzly
Yeah,
Adams
that.
over there.
It's out of laziness.
Is
Not
it?
fashion.
How long does it take you to grow that puppy?
3 or 4 weeks, maybe.
That's 3 or 4 weeks of growth right there?
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's not too great.
No, it's all right. It's not bad. Hey, what game you playing again?
Right now, I'm looking at the stats for Bilo Powell.
How's he doing this year? How's your fantasy team doing?
Well,
with
he has 12 yards today, which is
Nice.
good for a backup.
He's your starter, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, well, he's my starter, but he's
no-
not the Jets
he's no
starter.
backup.
Yeah.
But he's been doing pretty good this season so far. A lot of rushing and a lot of passing. They're really mixing him in everywhere.
Yeah.
All right.
Just an all-around quality team in New York right now.
The only quality team in New York right now. We can talk about the Giants. You want to talk about the Giants, but let's get to the Giants in a second after we run down some other games.
All right, let's go.
All right. Let's talk about. I'm just gonna go straight down. Let's talk about Panthers Bucks. Obviously, we have a lot of Carolina fans. We have I believe, a Carolina fan sitting at the producer chair right now.
Oh yeah, look at.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
The maybe most overrated quarterback in football right now.
Whoa. I think today ESPN said that Cam is definitely an MVP contender.
Well, anything ESPN says is usually right. So
100%
Well,
of the time.
yeah,
60%
I don't know
of the time,
about
they're
that.
right. all the
60%
time.
of the time they're right 100% of the time. So that being said, you're correct. Cam Newton is the runaway MVP candidate. As far as that game goes, Cam and Jameis squaring off for the first time in their careers.
It's gonna be a heck of a game.
What do you think?
I think the Panthers will win. Will get this one. I do. Honestly, I like the Panthers. I think their defense is one of the best defenses in the league.
Pull
I
up the
think
Josh Norman interception against the Saints.
pull up the Josh. Man, you guys are making me pull up too much stuff here.
It's a lot of work.
Do it.
No.
Well,
Do it.
you know what? I think we should get something going here on the show. Let's take some picks. Let's keep track of that. And the next week we can review it and we can tell the viewers how much better I am and more knowledgeable I am than you. All around generally, but specifically the NFL.
All right, let's go. Let's go straight down.
You can go. You can read them all. That's
After
fine.
from obviously the Dolphins and Jets are going on right now, so we're not gonna pick them. The Ravens and Steelers. Ravens beat the Steelers 23-20 on Thursday,
All right.
so obviously we're not gonna pick them.
Giants,
But
Bills.
what? I wasn't even done recap.
Fine. Do you?
No,
thing.
I'm done now.
All right.
Let's start off Jaguars and Colts just because I don't want you to start it off. Are you gonna keep Taylor? Do you have a piece of paper that you can write all this stuff down? Or?
Yeah, you got to get some picks too.
Jushawn's got this.
You got a piece of paper?
Yeah, I
too?
got some paper.
Yeah, get you some picks as well.
Yeah,
Do you have
let's get 4 picks here. One from
right.
one
One from all of us
one
here.
from me and Zach, one from Taylor. Then we'll get Jushawn Wayne in.
So we
I'll-
just have to pick a game and then we say who we think's gonna win.
And
Just a random
give me a reason why. Don't give me
one to
Okay.
1 to 2
Whatever.
sentences. Just
Okay.
it's a short essay.
again for the folks at home. Go ahead and call in if you'd like to. If you want to disagree with Anderson's picks, 1-864-656-1226. Please give us a call. We'd love to hear from you.
Let me go first.
That's so
Go ahead. What's the first game we're gonna pick?
Jaguars Colts.
Go ahead, Taylor.
Okay. Colts, they're gonna kill him. That's all there is to it.
Andrew Luck's not playing.
It doesn't matter.
He
They're
already
the
got the Colts.
Jaguars. What's in Jacksonville? It's a football team. That's
Yep.
all there is.
That's what they call that.
That's a great pick. All right, we got the Colts for him. What do you got, buddy? All right, the Philly fan's going to go with the
Jushan's
Jags.
got hey, let's go. What do you got?
Jags.
You got the Jags as well.
I think the fact that you're trotting out Matt Hasselbeck, who I didn't even know was in the league until about 2 hours ago.
Did Matt Hasselbeck lead a Seattle Seahawks team to a Super Bowl?
What year? What year did
It
he
happened.
do that?
It happened.
Yeah, I'm sure it did, but what year?
Oh,
Thank you.
2006, 2007.
So, not relevant. Jags.
Jags. I'm gonna go with the Colts. The Jaguars have just an abysmal team.
I understand that, but the Colts haven't done anything to really impress me. Even though are they first in the AFC South? How
Well-
bad is that division?
They're pretty bad.
How bad?
Apparently pretty bad. Let's go back here. Oh. I mean, I think the Colts will win. Matt Hasselbeck does have, years of experience, under his belt, and I think that maybe that's exactly what they need. T.Y. Hilton is active. Andre Johnson, the Colts have a good team. Andre Johnson, 5 years ago would have been a little nicer, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. Am I right? But
Listen,
I think the Colts will win this one. So let's go before I don't want to get into too much so we can nail all these games.
Jags.
All right, so Jushan, you keep count for all four of us? All right, perfect. All right, next game. We have the Giants and the Bills. The Bills are 2-1, the Giants are 1-2. What do you got, Taylor?
Oh, Bills all the way. Bills are going to kill him. I mean, Sammy Watkins, he hasn't
There's
been
a
doing
lot of
much.
killing
Sammy's
going
not
on.
playing.
Okay, that's true. He is out. He's also on my fantasy team.
There is a
So
lot
I
of
do
killing
know that
going
he's
on
out.
in the
There is.
NFL.
But
This is a
the Bills are
massacre.
going to win because Tyrod Taylor has come out, shown everybody what's up, and he's dominating. Right now, statistically, he's like the 5th best QB in the league this season. So Tyrod's going to lead him to another victory.
Is that going to continue?
Oh, yeah.
Oh
it
yeah.
is.
Oh yeah. All right. What do you got, Jushan? Let's see what. Jushan's going Bills. He doesn't trust Eli Manning anymore. You know what? I'm going Giants. I do trust Eli Manning. 108 pass attempts and not a single interception, which is leaps and bounds better than what it was last year when he had 4 interceptions at this point. This Bills team is one of the best Bills teams that they've had in recent years, with the prestigious Rex Ryan as their coach. I think the Giants will pull this one out. They beat them last year, 17-13.
We didn't play them last year.
The Giants and the Bills did, 2014. I'm looking at it right now.
In preseason, maybe.
No, it is August 3rd.
Yeah.
August 3rd.
Yeah.
You know what?
They played the Hall of Fame game last year against them.
Hey, they beat them.
They did. That being said, they're going to win again at 1 o'clock.
The Giants?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I mean, Eli is, like you said, hasn't thrown an interception. 1 of 3 in the league. If you can name the other 2, I'd be rather impressed.
Obviously be Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is... It's not Kaepernick.
No, it's not. Kaepernick is awful.
I was just taking a long shot. Russell Wilson?
No.
Drew Brees.
No. Starts with a T and rhymes with Tom Brady.
I'm going to go with Johnny Manziel.
Yes, that's it.
Yes.
You got it. But, yes, 1 of 3 quarterbacks not throwing an interception. And they're getting some key players back.
In 108 attempts, too. I mean, so like
he's slinging the ball around. Yeah. And he's got a pretty good guy. I don't know if you heard of him, Odell Beckham Jr.
Who's that guy?
Yeah. He's number 13. You'll see him on the field today wearing blue. He's a heck of a player.
Both teams wear blue.
Hey, listen. He'll have the blue helmet on, so relax.
Both teams have blue on their helmet?
Yeah, have the all blue helmet on.
Okay. Well, it's not all blue. They have white letters and a red stripe.
Well, Andy, thank you.
I'm going to move on. Next game. So far we've been split. We've had 2 for the Jets, 2 for the Dolphins, 2 for the Jags, 2 for the Colts. Jets, Dolphins. 2 for the Jags, 2 for the Colts, 2 for the Giants, 2 for the Bills. Panthers and the Buccos.
I got to go with the Panthers. Panthers all day. Cam's going to come out, lead him to a victory. I mean, that's all there is to it. Jameis Winston, he'll choke. He's Jameis. He
Jameis.
did good in college, but this is the big leagues. He's not going to do anything. Mike Evans, he might do something special. Probably not. The Bucs do have a pretty good receiving core. Mike Evans, Vincent Jackson.
Yeah, definitely.
But Panthers defense, I mean, Josh Norman, they're saying he's the new shutdown corner.
Who's saying that?
You guys have not been keeping up with stuff.
No, they actually are saying that.
Who's
But hey,
saying that?
I mean, you look at these two teams. I just think I'm gonna do my pick real quick before I go to Jushan here. But I think the defense, Carolina's defense, is awesome. The Buckeyes have the 26th best offense.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that's a recipe for success there for Carolina with having a great defense and playing a team that's not very good on offense. But I mean, once again, crazy things happen, and Buccaneer Jameis is a good quarterback, great athlete.
No.
You cannot argue with the fact that he is a great athlete.
He wasn't the best athlete in the quarterback class that came out last year.
Did I say that he was the best?
I'm just letting you
I'm
know.
saying he's a great athlete.
I'm letting you.
You're putting words into my mouth.
I am educating you
You're educating
I'm
me.
Let's get your pick there, Sean.
I'm going Carolina here, but Deshaun's going Panthers.
We're gonna go Panthers across the board. I think that's
Panthers
too
across
much.
the board.
That defense is too much. Even without Luke
I do.
Kuechly, is too much
do.
for
Yeah.
Winston to handle.
Yep.
So it should be an easy one. Not an
Moving
easy one.
on, the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm not even going to have Deshaun pick because it's going to be the Eagles. Philadelphia Eagles versus Washington. Taylor.
Well, honestly, I think this is just going to be a game of mediocrity. Because the Eagles haven't been doing great. The Redskins had a good win, but it's going to be I don't even know who to pick. I guess the Redskins because they beat the Rams.
How do we take the Skins?
You took the Skins. All right, let's
Yeah.
go. All right, Deshaun. Let's just make this pick known. Your pick is the Washington Redskins. Are you serious?
No,
I
he
didn't think
took
so.
the Eagles.
Okay. All right, so he's going with the Philadelphia Eagles. Shocking surprise there. Zach?
I think the Eagles get out of here with a win, even though they haven't done anything to impress me, and that whole division is a dumpster fire.
You've used that word like 8 times.
Because
which is very, very.
It's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it speaks a lot, so I feel like I need to use the phrase.
I'm as well going to go with the Eagles. I think Washington has played too good to what they're capable of. I'm looking at here, they're the 11th best offense, which they're not. They're the 21st best passing offense, which they're not. They're the 4th best, passing off 21st. That's like they're worse than the 21st. Let's get that straight. The 4th best rushing offense, which they're not. Alfred Morris. Morris is a quality running back, but he is not the 4th best running back. And in general, they're not the 4th best. And it's Washington right now, through 3 weeks, has the 2nd best defense. Get out of here. Get out of here. Philadelphia's going to win this game.
All right, moving on.
The Raiders and the Bears, 1 o'clock Eastern time. At the Bears, if that makes any difference.
Bears all day. They got to get a win at some point.
0-3.
They have to get a win at some point, and
Bears.
it's going to be the Raiders.
The Bears
The
are
Bears
so
are in
bad.
a rebuilding year. They just announced that they're going to put everybody on their roster up to trade.
What?
So,
what a joke.
yeah, but they still have Alshon Jeffrey and Matt Forte, and they're
You
a
keep
couple of
hanging
the
your
best
hat on
players
that.
in the league.
Yeah.
Jay Cutler, he's average, I guess. But the Bears, they'll get a win.
At best.
I mean, Amari Cooper can only do so much. The Bears will win.
Sean. Raiders. Because
Because
this,
and I
he's
quote,
going with the Raiders.
the Bears are absolute trash.
Not even a dumpster fire. They don't even get the fire. They're just trash. Fire has positive characteristics. Trash has none. The trash is just awful.
That's fantastic.
That is awesome.
That
All right,
is
what do you
fantastic.
got here?
I mean, it's the Raiders. The Raiders are a real team this year, and I think that's pretty exciting to talk about, that they are a real team. Even though they play in a fake stadium, they're a real team.
Yeah.
I mean,
They need to get out of Oakland.
yeah, they need to get.
They need to get out of California.
No, they go to L.A.
Go to Hawaii.
Go to what?
I think that'd be awesome.
Go to L.A.
All right.
I think Carr is a real deal quarterback in the NFL, and I think that he can get the ball out to Mark Cooper enough that they'll be able to beat
I agree.
a very inept Bears team.
They have the absolute worst defense
The Bears?
Absolute worst. No, the Raiders. Sorry, the Raiders have the absolute worst defense this year.
Yeah, 32nd in the league right now.
They're 6th in offense. They're 6th in passing, 18th in rushing.
Yeah.
But the Bears are so bad.
Oh, not good.
The Raiders have, just like the Panthers had one of the best defenses and the Buccaneers had one of the worst offenses. It's the exact opposite. Raiders have one of the worst defenses, but the Bears have one of the worst offenses.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pick Raiders as well. So you got 3-1 there. All right, moving on here. 1 o'clock as well. Texans and the Falcons.
And what you talked about possibly being the game of the week.
Yeah.
Because the rest of the schedule is just not good.
Right.
But Texans, Falcons, Taylor, what do you got?
Oh, it's going to be the Falcons. And, the Falcons, they're doing pretty good. Julio Jones, he's doing pretty well. I mean, he's the best
all right.
wide receiver in the league right now.
For sure.
Matt Ryan's doing good. But do you guys know the Falcons schedule? Does anybody know the Falcons schedule?
Off the top of my head.
Let me read you out the schedule. Starting at week 1. Eagles, Giants, Cowboys, Texans, Redskins, Saints, Titans, Buccaneers, 49ers, Colts, Vikings, Buccaneers, Panthers, Jaguars, Panthers, Saints. If they don't go undefeated, they suck. Except for the Panthers.
I was going to say, except for the...
They could go 10-6 without even showing up.
I don't think that's possible. If they don't show up, then that means they're disqualified.
It's a figure of speech.
Hey, read the rules one time for me.
Yeah, read the rule book. Shock me, Taylor. Shock me and know the rules here. But let's dissect their schedule for a second before we get into everybody else's pick. Houston's a good team. Like Houston's defense is not to be messed with.
Arian Foster's not really back yet. He might be back and play a little bit.
They're a good team,
but
not a great team.
It's unlikely. And Arian Foster's the best thing on the team.
Mm-hmm.
They lost DeAndre Hopkins.
Yep.
He's a monster. But they lost Andre Johnson. So, I mean, not really. And J.J. Watt, he's doing well. But, like, at the beginning of the season, they said the Texans' defense was, like, number 2 or 3. And then, just like every year, they played their first game, and they're like, oh, wait, it's the Texans. They suck. So, Texans, they're nothing.
Yeah, I mean Texans are nothing, but let's just move on here. The Texans are not a terrible team. They have a great defense. They have the best defensive player in the league. Their offense, obviously,
Jadeveon Clowney.
Question marks. Jadeveon Clowney. Anywho, I mean, you got Washington, who should be a win. You have New Orleans, who should be a win, especially with Drew Brees being questionable. And New Orleans just not being very good. Tennessee could be close. Okay, so let's just for poops and giggles. Let's give Tennessee
way to
a
keep
loss.
it PG for the
Thank you.
listeners.
Let's give Tennessee a loss here. So they're 6-1. Tampa Bay they should beat. Let's go 7-1. San Francisco 8-1. Indianapolis let's give them a loss there 8-2, providing that Andrew Luck will play well. Minnesota they're playing well. Let's just give them a loss there 8-3. Tampa Bay at Tampa Bay this time. Let's give them a loss 8-4. Carolina.
What?
Hey, this is worst possible. Carolina lost 8-5. Jacksonville 9-5. Carolina at Atlanta, let's go 10-5, and then New Orleans at Atlanta 11-5. I mean, Atlanta going into the season, I did not think was going to be a very good team. I mean, you go back, a couple weeks ago on Wednesday night, I wasn't a huge fan of Atlanta. I thought they were going to be up and coming, but I did not think they're going to be this good. And they legit can go 11-5, and that's strictly due to how bad their conference is.
That's how bad their schedule is.
All right, going back
how bad their conference is.
To these picks, I'm taking the Texans.
Yeah, I'm taking the Falcons. So. And Jushan is going to the Falcons. Now, is there a reason that we can give an awesome quote to our viewers out there?
To what?
To Jushan's reasoning. Because he witnessed Julio Jones firsthand. Thank you, buddy. All right, we have the Bengals and the Chiefs. Taylor.
I don't know. This is a tough one. Jamal Charles has been doing well, but Andy Dalton's also been doing really good. The Bengals, Jeremy Hill, and hasn't really been doing much. Giovanni Bernard's been having to step up. So, I guess I'll take the Bengals.
Yes, all right. Jushan. Jushan is going to the Bengals. Do you have an explanation for our viewers? No, he doesn't. He's just
Not really.
Not
Some
really.
marketing analysis here in
Yeah.
Tigervision this
Zach,
morning.
what do you got here?
Chiefs, Bengals. I think the Bengals take it and go 4-0 on the season. As you mentioned, Andy Dalton, maybe the best player in Ohio right now.
Well, I'm not in Ohio, so yeah.
Well, I'm just letting you know your home state.
LeBron James is in Ohio.
Football player.
LeBron James.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, give me the Bengals over the Chiefs. I don't think Alex Smith is having that fantastic of a season. I think he's going to be heading downwards, and they're going to having a new quarterback in Kansas City next year.
Yeah, I'm going to be going with the Bengals. I wasn't even a huge fan of Alex Smith back in San Francisco.
Nobody was.
He was decent.
No, he wasn't.
He was decent. I was not a fan of him 2 years ago when he got pretty hot with the Kansas City Chiefs. I think the Bengals are going to win this one as well.
Okay.
Oh boy, Browns.
The
Chargers. Who you got?
Is that the Chargers?
Who you got? Yeah, at the Chargers.
It's the Chargers. Keenan Allen's been tearing it up this year. Danny Woodhead's been doing a lot more this year than he has in the past. Phillip Rivers has been less. He's been more average than he usually is. He's usually one of the top. And the Browns, I mean, he used to be Johnny Football. Now he's just a guy who got out of rehab.
Now he's just football?
No, he's just the guy who got out of rehab.
Yeah. So I'm going to take the Chargers.
Jushawn.
I'm also going Chargers.
Jushawn is also going Chargers. Jushawn, explanation?
Well, Johnny Football's not playing right now.
Johnny Football's not playing.
So, I'm going.
So he's just going with the Chargers. All right, Zach.
Is Johnny? He's not starting.
No, he's not.
For whatever reason, he's not starting.
Because the Browns like to disappoint their fans.
I tell you what. For that reason, you have to take the Chargers. I don't see how you can take anybody else. The Browns are not a good team with McCown under center. They're just not. They're not. And I know as a Cleveland fan, you can't disagree with me with that.
I can't. I mean, McCown didn't do awful last year. Or last week.
Where are you in your fanhood that you're sitting here announcing to me, well, he didn't do awful. He wasn't awful.
He was not.
Be proud in your team and know that your best chance for winning and being successful in the AFC North is with Johnny Manziel under center.
Yeah.
As scary as that might be to admit, because he's not a pro NFL quarterback. I don't think he is. I don't think he's an NFL quarterback.
Manziel?
Yeah.
I'll agree with you there.
But he's your best chance to be successful in that division and ultimately maybe somehow sprinkle some magic over and make a run. But they're not going to with McCown under center. And for that reason, I'm not.
McCown was 28 for 49 last week, 341 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's more than Derek Carr had.
They win?
And 314 yards. No.
All right, so then.
Now, you cannot blame one guy. That is not
What's the most important position on the field?
Quarterback.
All right, thank you.
And if you have a quarterback that will give you 341 yards, I'd say that's pretty good.
Did they win?
No, they did not.
All right, so we're not talking about it.
I'm about to smack the crap out of you.
Andy, I'm really excited to be here with you today. I got to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I love waking up and getting to see your beautiful face.
I tell you what, I looked forward to it.
I'm going with
Don't do it.
I'm going with the Chargers here. I don't think the Browns are that good of a team. Hopefully, in the next 100 years they can get one winning season. But the Chargers are a pretty good team. Melvin Gordon is an unbelievable rookie. He's going to give a run, literally, at the Rookie of the Year here. And being at the Chargers, I think the Chargers will get the win, but it will be close. I think it will be a toss-up, but I do think the Chargers will get it. So let's go now to the Packers and the 49ers. I swear to God, if anybody picks the 49ers, I'm just going to walk out of the studio right now. Taylor.
Packers.
Yep. Jushawn. Zach.
Packers.
All right, I'm going with the 49ers. No, I was kidding.
Yeah, right.
I'm going with the Packers.
Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
going with Niners.
Next game. I don't even want to talk about that game because Packers. Rams, Cardinals. Now, this has the potential to be a good game.
This is the big one.
No,
This is a good. Yes, it does.
No.
Yes, it does.
No.
Let's start off with Taylor.
Well, I think I'm going to have to take the Rams on this one because Andre Ellington's still injured for the Cardinals. The Rams, Todd Gurley. The Rams defense has been killing it. The Rams did beat the Seahawks, but they also lost to the Redskins. So it's going to be the Rams.
Sean.
I'm going Cardinals because I think the Rams have the worst offense. One of the worst offenses.
Yeah, it's actually dead last.
It is the
dead
worst.
last.
They're the worst offense in the league.
Oh, yeah, by far.
I don't trust Nick Foles in that system.
Nobody does.
No. I didn't trust Nick Foles in Philadelphia.
What do you got there, Anderson?
I have I mean, this is Todd Gurley's
Don't do
first
it.
actual game back.
Don't do it.
First actual game back.
Don't do it.
The Rams defense is very good.
Don't do it.
The Cardinals are not 3-0 good. They are not the 5th best offense. They're not the 5th best defense.
Do the smart thing here.
I'm going St. Louis Rams.
I'm going Cardinals. It's an easy pick, Cardinals. I don't know why you'd pick the Rams. I don't think you've watched a game of football in your life. You pick the Rams for this game. They're not a good team.
Let's look at it Sunday.
They're not a good team. They're not a good team.
Moving on. We have the Minnesota Vikings and the Denver Broncos. Taylor.
Broncos. Peyton Manning's old, but he's got a good receiving core.
Wise.
Vikings. Teddy Bridgewater's really been coming into his own over there, and they're doing good, but it's the NFC North, and so besides the Packers, they're really not that great up there. So I'm going to take the Broncos.
Jushawn.
I'm going to go with the Vikings. I don't know how the Broncos have been this good so far. They shouldn't really be. What are they? 3-0?
The 3-0.
3-0.
They shouldn't be 3-0. I don't know how. Peyton Manning's been terrible this year.
Jushawn's. I'm not sure if you guys can hear him at home.
No.
Jushawn says that he doesn't know how the Broncos are 3-0 this year. Their offense has been horrible, which they have. They're the 30th best, the second worst offense, 30th best offense. And he's right there. So I'm just going to transition this one, just a clean segue here to my pick. I'm going to go with the Broncos.
That was real silky clean.
Thank you. I'm going to go with the Broncos. I mean, you look at it, going into the season, what side of the ball did you think the Broncos are going to be better at, offense or defense?
Offense.
Offense, exactly. I mean, they're not the 30th worst offense here, but they're not. Once again, they're not the first best defense. They are one of the better defenses, but they're not the 30th worst or 30th best offense. So I'm gonna think that Peyton Manning's gonna hopefully get it done this week, and I think Broncos are gonna go over Minnesota.
All the stats to me say take the Vikings. Adrian Peterson having a 100-yard game for the first time in a season, 2 years. Whatever, last week, great. Teddy Bridgewater, not a bad quarterback. They have weapons up there in Minnesota. That being said...
Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota. That being said, my mom is a big Broncos fan. Not even so much that she likes the team. She's always liked the logo, and ever since I was a kid, wanted me to pick the Broncos. I don't know why. She liked the Broncos. And because she tuned in this morning, I really wanted to give her a little bit of wishful thinking and take the Broncos this Sunday against Minnesota.
Aw. Hi, Zach's mom.
Yeah. Hey, Monica.
All right, moving on here. Cowboys and Saints. Taylor.
Cowboys. Saints are not doing very well at all this year. Drew Brees, I don't even think he's playing this week, and he's basically the team. Now they lost Jimmy Graham, so I'm going to give it to the Cowboys.
Cowboys, all right. Let's go Jushawn here.
I'm going Saints because I can never pick the Cowboys.
He's going Saints because he could never pick the Cowboys. Now, that is not biased at all here, fans. All right, Zach, let's go. What do you got?
Hate the Cowboys. Go Saints.
Go Saints.
Well, Tony Romo's not playing. Isn't Drew Brees starting again this week?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, Saints by 1 million.
Saints by 1 million. I'm going with the Cowboys. I just think the Saints are just awful. They're at home, but I mean the Cowboys have a quality defense. They're like Tony Romo isn't playing, but honestly, thank God Willie isn't here. You know, Willie's one of the anchors on Wednesday show. He's a huge Cowboys fan. Thank God he's not here to witness me, pick the Cowboys, and I will never pick the Cowboys when Willie is here. But I'm gonna go with the Cowboys. I think they'll get this one here in the Mercedes-Benz Super Bowl. Your Superdome. Super Bowl.
Atta girl.
Superdome.
Atta girl.
All right, Taylor. We're winding down here. Let's go with Lions, Seahawks.
Seahawks. The Lions are trash this year. They were pretty all right last year, maybe the year before. Seahawks have been pretty good. I mean, dare I say it might be a dynasty. But I'm taking the Seahawks.
Taking the Seahawks. Jushawn, our producer here in the studio, is picking the Seahawks. Does he have an explanation? Like Taylor said, the Lions are trash. Trash and dumpster fires. Is that the word?
Yeah, dumpster fire.
Is the
It's the word of
terms
the
of the day,
Yeah,
really.
absolutely.
Garbage. Anything that's synonymous with those words. It's words of the day. Apparently, I'm gonna go with the Seahawks as well. I mean, I just don't see how you can pick the Lions, who are just awful. They got rid of Dominic Sue, and their defense is trash. Calvin Johnson is not the receiver he once was.
How do you stop that?
He's not.
He's not. You're right.
Matthew Stafford is, showing the true colors here now that he can't just throw it up to a guy who he knows is going to catch it. So I think the Seahawks are going to win here. Their offense has kind of been lackluster, and I think the Seahawks are going to win pretty well too. It's 54 degrees right now, or 55 degrees is the low tonight here on tomorrow night on Monday. October 5th, actually, that's my dad's birthday, so you give your mom a shout out. I'll give my dad a shout out.
Throw him one.
So let's go with the Seahawks there on my dad's birthday there.
For the Seahawks-Lions game Monday night, you got to go Seattle. It's in Seattle.
You got to go Seattle. I agree 100%.
There's no reason to pick Detroit to think they're going to go out there.
Yeah, I agree 110%. All right, now, those are our picks, so hopefully you guys can tune in next week to see me win, hopefully, and we'll see what guy here, 4 of us here today, will have the most picks. So anything else about NFL before we make a smooth transition over to
baseball.
The little baseball. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned earlier in the show, we have had a fantastic show. And also, before I go any farther, if you agree with any of our picks, if you don't agree with any of our NFL picks and you want to go back to NFL, if you want to go back to college, if you want to do anything, give us a call, 864-656-1226. All right, but anyway, going to baseball now. It is playoff time, thank the Lord.
Heck yeah.
Hey, and this is always a depressing time for me. Because baseball is over, and baseball is my absolute favorite sport, and this is a really depressing time because it's it's showing that baseball is almost over, and it's even more depressing because the Cleveland Indians are never there. Now,
how far out were they this year?
I believe they finished 5 games back
Of the division or the wild card?
Second wild card. They were like 12, 13 games back at the division.
Okay.
But if we want to go, we'll talk about my surprises and my stuff later, but we'll recap the whole season basically later. But let's talk about the here and now. So we have a huge day going on right now. This is huge playoff implications. We have on the AL West. We have the Rangers, leading the division. We have the Astros, who are up 1 game, and we have the Angels, who are down 1 game back of the Astros of the second wild card spot. Now, the Astros win, they get in, no matter what.
Okay.
If the Astros win and the Rangers lose, Astros win the division. If the Astros lose and Rangers win, Rangers clinch the division. Well, no matter what, if the Astros lose, Rangers clinch the division.
Okay.
But if the Astros lose and the Angels win, they tie. So then they'll go to a playoff for the playoff on Monday.
Okay.
So a huge day going on for the AL West, huge day going on for the AL. The NL Central is really, kind of just set in stone, or the NL in general, is really set in stone. So great series of games these next couple days. Playoffs start Wednesday, I believe. But one thing that I want to talk about before we go on anything else is Max Scherzer last night. And Max Scherzer has had one heck of a career and has had one heck of a season. He just threw his second no-hitter last night of the season, and that hasn't been done, as I mentioned earlier, since 1973 when some guy named Nolan Ryan.
Who?
Nolan Ryan.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, did that in 1973. So a tremendous feat for Max Scherzer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Max Scherzer's watching, and he's extremely proud that we gave him a shout-out, but Max Scherzer's had one heck of a season, and he's a bulldog. He really is.
He is.
I mean, there's so many times I've got an update on my phone saying Max Scherzer throwing a no-hitter through 7.
Through 6, through 7.
Yeah, through 7, through 6,
yeah,
through
yeah.
8. Max Scherzer's had one heck of a year. In general, on a team that was hugely
Overrated.
disappointing.
You think disappointing?
Well, with overrating comes disappointment.
I understand that. That was a team that was picked to run away with the NL East.
Run away.
I mean, we're talking like double
But
digit
you look at that.
away.
You look at that NL East. Going into the season, the Mets were not this good.
Oh, I was one of the people saying the Nationals were going to run away with that division.
The Marlins, I thought, were going to give them a run for their money. The Marlins, and granted, if Giancarlo Stanton and Jose Fernandez could have been there the whole season,
Maybe we're talking about
things
the Marlins.
things could be switched up.
Yeah.
But injuries happen, unfortunately, and obviously the Marlins were in the towards the bottom of that league. But the Mets, heck of a turnaround, made a huge push this year. Was right around
It was the All-Star break.
Is the All-Star break, not only the All-Star break, but really the trade deadline, getting Yoenis Cespedes. He was fire. He was the exact opposite
Folks,
of dumpster fires.
Folks, he was so good for the Mets after the All-Star break. And he went to the NL from Detroit, I believe, right?
Yep.
Came here, and he was in the NL MVP discussion up until about 2 weeks ago.
And he was here for like 60.
I mean, that's
50,
how
60
good
games.
he was. That's unbelievable. That's
Unreal.
unprecedented. You never hear about that. That's you just don't. I mean, he was that good for a team that desperately needed a bat in the middle of their lineup because you have a guy like David Wright who, to steal the phrase from our southern, companions down here, bless his heart, has just been injured more often than not, and he's carried that team through some dark times.
Really,
and he's been the lone bright spot for that Mets team at third base for years, really.
Yeah.
And to have him get a little help now, to have that team around him, and to produce, to be successful, it's, as a Yankees fan, looking over across town, you always look at the little brother in the city. It's cool to watch. It's nice to see them be relevant again.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the Mets are the one New York team that nobody really can hate except
No.
New York Yankees.
Yeah.
Except New York Yankees fans.
Yeah.
The Mets are a quality team. Very optimistic bunch. And they have one of the best pitching staffs that we're going to see for the next couple of years.
You think so?
Anchored by Matt Harvey, Thornton, there's Noah Syndergaard, Steven Matz. I mean, you look up and down Bartolo Colon.
Who? Bartolo.
Zach Wheeler. I mean, you look, they have really put them in good position. They've really built their team the way that teams are supposed to be built. I mean, you look at teams like St. Louis Cardinals, they built the team the right way. They don't do it by free agency, necessarily. They built the team from the ground up. They draft amazingly, and the Mets have done so as well. They've really capitalized on their low drafts year after year. And same for the Cubs, for the most part. They did get John Lester in free agency. They did get Madden, which was a huge asset, obviously.
Okay.
But these guys really capitalized on their draft picks. Chris Bryant, Kyle Schwarber, Addison Russell, with the trade last year.
Mm-hmm.
Great trade, completely ripped off Oakland. And Oakland and Oakland is paying for that right now.
Oh, yes.
And they'll be paying for that for the next couple of years. Because you look at Marcus Semien, who's their shortstop right now.
Yeah.
He was awful defensively. They really, 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 really needed Addison Russell.
Oakland still has old Billy Bean up there as a GM.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's still playing that Moneyball.
And Moneyball works for the most part.
For the most part.
But
it's not going to be successful ultimately.
Yeah.
It just
Definitely.
won't.
They need some scenery change. They need something in Oakland.
But back to the Nationals real quick, if I can drag you back there. We obviously didn't have the show last week. This is the first time we're doing that. And again, thank you for the opportunity. We really appreciate it. But let's talk about Papelbon and Harper's little altercation in the dugout.
That's Major League, the movie Major League.
Oh, it is.
Charlie Sheen and Omar Epps in Major League 2.
Yeah, they get into it.
That is what it reminded me of. Like,
yeah.
You two are on the same team, playing for the same city, playing for the same goal. This cannot happen.
No, I mean, as a Yankees fan, I was upset that my future right fielder and Bryce Harper is getting his throat choked.
You can't believe that.
I'll get to that, but he'll be in the Bronx. He'll be in pinstripes in about 3 seasons. He's only signed for next year. Yeah.
I don't see that coming.
It's happening. I promise you. Tell me his swing isn't made for the short porch in the Bronx.
His swing is made for any stadium anywhere.
For the short ports in Yankee Stadium.
Tell me a left-handed power hitter who is not made
I'm
for
just
the short
letting
porch
you
in the
know.
Bronx.
Tell me he doesn't crave the spotlight. He doesn't want to play on the biggest stage. And where's the biggest stage in baseball?
Washington.
New York.
Washington.
How is it Washington?
I'm
It's
just
New
messing
York.
up. No, it's not necessarily New York.
The pinstripes.
Okay, yeah, it's
The history.
the history. But this is the year now. Washington is a respectable franchise now. Thanks to Bryce Harper.
That isn't making the playoffs.
Thanks to Bryce Harper.
That
Thanks
isn't
to
making
Steven
the playoffs.
Strasburg. Okay, look, they're so young.
I understand that. I'm telling
Bryce
you.
Harper's 22.
It's ridiculous what he's doing at 22, by the way.
42 home runs, 331,
Yeah. What does he have?
99 RBIs.
He's got to get over 100.
He's
gotta
definitely.
get over
I mean, you got one game left.
Yeah.
You have to think, but unreal what Bryce Harper's done in his age 22 season, and his counterpart Mike Trout, who is just as. Oh, first of all, Bryce Harper with 10.1 wins
The
above
award,
replacement,
yeah.
and also a little shout out to Willie Taylor. If I can bring you in here, who did Willie say was had a better wins above replacement last week? Was it Mike Trout or Josh Donaldson? Who did he say?
I think I remember him saying Don Johnson.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that name?
What did you say? Bro.
Josh Donaldson.
Yeah, that's what I said.
You said Don Donaldson. You said Don Donaldson.
I said what you said. Yes. Honestly, I don't know what you're talking about.
You said Don.
What game are you playing, man?
I'm not. I'm looking at the MLB playoffs.
I
list.
see what you have, but I'm seeing tabs at the top of your computer.
Yeah, we got the.
Hey, open them up
Jets.
for us. Open them all.
We got the fantasy. We got ESPN. We got.
There was a skip. There was a skip.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I don't know what you guys are talking
he said.
about.
Willie said last Wednesday, last week's show.
Wait, you seen Avengers?
Yeah.
You know, like when they're on their ship and they're having like it's crisis mode and the dude's playing like the game on the computer and they call him out. That is you right now.
I don't know what you're talking about.
He's going so hard not to not to show.
We're gonna catch it.
Maybe not this week, but the weeks after. But
we'll get you.
Willie's a panelist on Wednesday night's show, The Extra Point, on 8:30 on Wednesdays. Little plug there. But we're talking about MVPs, and I said Mike Trout, and he said Josh Donaldson. And he said that he'd be interested to see who the WAR wins above replacement was because he thought Josh Donaldson was above. And I said it's going to be very close, and it is.
It is.
I mean,
very
9.3 and 8.9. I mean, Willie picked Josh Donaldson for the MVP. I picked Mike Trout.
Do you want to?
Both are great picks.
Do you want to maybe explain for people? WAR is a relatively new stat.
WAR is.
So if you want to explain to them what WAR is.
So wins above replacement is all about. So you take him off the team.
Yep.
And then it's the next best guy standing up. So I mean, it's all based relative, like who's on your team and all that stuff. This huge long equation. I don't even know the equation.
No.
I just want to explain it. So you take, Mike Trout off the team. Mike Trout is worth 9.3 wins. So you take him off the team. The Angels are 9.3 team, wins less.
Yep.
Or 9.3 wins less. So that's basically what WAR is. Very. That's a simple explanation. Obviously, I could get more into it, but I just don't want to. And we don't have that kind of time. We only got about 20 minutes left here. But going to the Angels, Mike Trout, I honestly think deserves the MVP, the AL MVP, simply because of what he's literally carried the Angels. And I mentioned this on the show Wednesday. The Angels do not have a good pitching staff. They do not even have that good of an offense. But Mike Trout single-handedly, with his 41 home runs, 9.3 WAR and his 295 batting average, and his 998 OPS, which is insane. Yeah. And Bryce Harper's is 998 or 10 or something like that, or
sure.
100. Anywho, Mike Trout has carried that team, and he really deserves another AL MVP, and I think he will get it. Josh Donaldson does have a say. Josh Donaldson has 41 home runs, same as Mike Trout, has 123 RBIs, and I believe Donaldson's batting 290-something as well.
Let's while we're talking about it, then let's talk about some other awards in Major League Baseball.
At 298, Josh Donaldson.
And maybe to me the most interesting debate we can have for awards-wise, because the NL Cy Young is far and away Jake Arrieta for me. I think Arrieta's easily going to run away with that Cy Young. Okay.
I don't agree with you there.
Why? You think Greinke gets a shot at that?
No.
Who?
Clayton Kershaw.
No. No.
You tell me why not.
Why does Clayton Kershaw not have the NL Cy Young wrapped up in a bow right now?
Yeah. Why does Jake Arrieta?
Why is Clayton? 22 wins. He's got a 1.7 ERA.
You are putting wins in the NL Cy Young conversation.
And
wins is the worst stat.
And what's his ERA the last couple of games?
Who?
Arrieta's. Isn't it record setting?
It's 0.25.
Yeah. It's what?
It's something really.
It's really low.
Yeah. Let's see here.
He's the reason the Cubs make this run. He is the reason the Cubs, who have been abysmal in our lifetime.
Last 7 days, he has an ERA of 0, 13 innings, so 2 games.
You can't hit him right now.
You can't hit him right now. But okay,
could have hit him all season. He's got a 1.7 ERA. All right, we'll talk about
Kershaw.
ERA.
Let's talk about Kershaw.
He's got 2.16.
2.16. All right, let's talk about WHIP, 0.89. Okay, let's talk about strikeouts. Let's talk about strikeouts.
What does he have?
294 strikeouts.
Okay.
Jake Arrieta is not even close.
What does
to
he
that. Clayton Kershaw?
No, what does Arrieta's have?
Jake Arrieta has 236. 60 strikeouts.
I'm telling you right now, when we talk about this, Arrieta's the runaway candidate for the NL Cy Young. You might not agree with that, but they're going to give it to him.
Yes, I think they might give him to him. But believe me, folks, Clayton Kershaw is the best pitcher.
Don't mistake me for not liking Kershaw, because he is. He's
the best pitcher in the NL.
Dominant.
He's one of the best pitchers of all time.
I'm not ready to say that, but he's one of the best pitchers of our lifetime right now.
Yeah, I'm not ready to completely say he's only been in the league for 7 years.
You threw it out there, really.
He's 27 years old, but he's going to be one of the best pitchers of all time.
Absolutely fine.
What he's doing, a career ERA of 2.44.
I'm not disagreeing with you that he's a good pitcher, because he is. But at this point in time, Jake Arrieta is the NL Cy Young winner, and it's not even a question to me. It's not even a debate. It's Jake Arrieta.
The thing is,
he's just been so good for a team that desperately needed it. And I think you look at a team like the Dodgers, who they're deep in the starting rotation.
Yeah.
And Arrieta's done it almost by. I mean, I know they have Lester up there. That's fine. But Arrieta has just been far and away the best pitcher for them, and far and away the best pitcher in the NL.
You look, people. You threw it out there. He has 22 wins. You threw it out there. Wins is a product of the team that you're playing on. And the Dodgers' offense was not that good this year. It started off very well.
I understand that.
But they were not that good. Clayton Kershaw had a rough start.
He did. He really got knocked around the first
He really
couple months,
did.
yeah.
But what he did the last 3 quarters of the season was Clayton Kershaw. Clayton Kershaw really should have the Cy Young every single year, because that's how good Clayton Kershaw is.
You talk about wins being a team product. Then we talk about Arrieta having a 0 ERA.
In the last 7 days,
That's
which
fine.
is 2 starts.
All right, so his last, how many starts, though? It's like a .25. He's stealing wins for the team. Regardless of their offensive production, he's able to steal wins for the team.
Folks, post All-Star break, Jake Arrieta has a .75 ERA.
Are you kidding me?
That is.
Earned run average for everybody that's not a huge baseball fan. That's what you're giving up a game divided by how many innings you're pitching and all that kind of crap. He is unbelievable for the Chicago Cubs right now. A team that desperately needs something to root for, to cheer in. He's giving them that, and for that reason, he's the NL Cy Young. There's no question in my mind. No question in my mind.
Yeah.
Clayton Kershaw is a phenomenal talent, a phenomenal pitcher. I think he should be in the conversation every year. But it's Jake Arrieta this year, and I think you got to give it to him.
Yeah, you look at it more advanced stance like fielding independent pitching, which is where it's strictly based on your ERA is based on the things that only the pitchers can control. Clayton Kershaw has like a 206 FIP, and Jake Arrieta has like a 240 something.
Okay.
So that goes up fielding independent pitching and everything, and Jake Arrieta has. Don't get me wrong, guys. Jake Arrieta is a phenomenal pitcher. He's put back-to-back amazing years. He's 9th in the Cy Young voting last year. He is a very quality talent. He is.
Dude, listen, I don't want to, bark up the tree again here, but if strikeouts, I'll give it to you. But if you're going to look at the big sexy stats and wins and ERA.
But wins is not a sexy stat. Wins is an awful pitching stat.
Wins is a sexy stat.
It's not.
Yes, it is. We judge pitchers by the fact that they can reach 20-win seasons. It's a big deal. But we do. So that's what it is. That's where we're at right now, right? If we're looking at that, Kershaw isn't even the best pitcher on his stinking team. Greinke is.
But Kershaw is the best pitcher on his team.
I understand that. But if you're a numbers guy. You've been throwing numbers out all morning. Greinke's the best pitcher on that team.
Why?
Just if you're looking at the stats, he's got a 1.6 ERA this year.
He's 19-3. Look at this. Look at
we're
the
not
advanced
talking
stats.
about. We're talking about the big sexy stats that you get on the 4-letter network that gives us all the stats.
That basic unintelligent people look at.
That's not the thing though. Because
I'm talking about
as
the
a
stats that
casual fan, the people that are going to tune and stop on this channel and watch us talk about this.
Who votes for the NL Cy
But we
Young?
get to talk about it because we're casual fans.
I'm more than a casual fan, baby.
All right, man. My bad.
You look at the advanced stats, and all signs point to Clayton Kershaw. Not all, but most. Okay, even looking at between Greinke and Kershaw, Greinke has had a terrific year, just like Arrieta.
Yeah.
But Kershaw is the best pitcher in in the NL, and he is the best pitcher in the whole entire league.
It's Arrieta right now for the NL. But let's talk about the AL. The AL, I think,
stats.
is a better conversation.
The AL is.
It's a two-horse conversation, but it's a better conversation. It's Dallas Keuchel and it's David Price.
Yeah.
Price obviously doing it with two teams, Detroit and Toronto. He wasn't great in Detroit. He wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad, but he
wasn't great.
he's not what he is doing now.
Right now, I mean, you can't beat him at home right now.
No, you cannot.
You cannot go up to Toronto and hope to get a win against David Price. It's just not going to happen.
All right.
So, in your professional, more than a casual fan opinion, tell me who is going to win the AL and tell me why.
David Price. David
Why?
Price will win. 225 strikeouts. He's got 225 strikeouts as compared to Dallas Keuchel's 216. I mean, not that much of a difference in the stats. Obviously, it's like barely anything. But post All-Star break, David Price 2.55 ERA, 95 innings pitched. Let's see, 95 innings pitched, 110 strikeouts. That's over. That's about a 10 to 11 K per 9 ratio. I mean,
Yeah.
David Price is having a phenomenal year, and so is Dallas Keuchel. Don't get me wrong again, but David Price is leading. Is the anchor to Toronto's pitching staff, and he honestly is just giving Toronto the motivation, giving them the 1 in every 5 day guy that they can turn to.
Chance to win every time.
Chance to win. But post All-Star break for Dallas Keuchel is where it starts to get is a little messy. It's 2.85 ERA now, 94.2 innings pitched, and only 102 strikeouts, 10 home runs, 30 earned runs, 81 hits. I mean, don't get me wrong, folks. Keuchel's had a great year, 2.48 ERA. But pre-All-Star break, he had a 2.23 ERA.
Yeah.
That is not what he's doing now.
No, listen, I agree with you. I think Price
Now
wins the AL.
home, Keuchel owns a 1.46 ERA.
Yeah.
Away, 3.77.
No, I mean,
3.77.
how big is Minute Maid Park, though? That park they play in, it's gigantic. That hill in center field.
And when you have outfielders like Carlos Gomez
Oh, he can fly around.
and George Springer, who can absolutely fly. I mean,
Yeah.
George Springer, I wish I pulled it up. Had made an unbelievable catch last night that really, it wasn't early in the inning, but really just sealed it. Just like, all right, just put a bow on this game. I think the Astros are going to win going to make the playoffs, going to make that second wild card. But the Astros are a good team. Can't believe it, but they're a good team.
They're gonna.
Keuchel is a great pitcher, but David Price, I think, deserves to win that.
David Price in Toronto,
That's awesome.
They're something else, right? Toronto, for the record, went all in. Like, they went to that All-Star break, they went to the trade deadline, and they pushed every one of their chips into the middle.
Definitely did.
I mean, and it's paying dividends right now. You can't argue that 3-4-5 that they have in that lineup right now with Donaldson, Batista, and Encarnacion.
Yeah.
It is just a bear to get through.
One more stat here that I just looked up. Before the All-Star break,
Sure.
Toronto's pitching was 23rd. 23rd.
Yeah.
Post All-Star break, they're 18th, I believe. Post All-Star break, Toronto, let's see, what are they? Where are they? I lost them now. Toronto's second. Yeah. Toronto was second.
They've
They went
jumped
from
a little bit.
They went from 23 to second. Overall, they're 18th. That's what I was, or 18th to 13th. 23 to number 2. Unreal.
They're a
And that's
good
David
team.
Price.
And
That's the only switch is David Price.
They're a good team, and I want no part of them in the playoffs. But if we get through this wild card game, we go to Toronto. We go to Toronto for 3 games, and that spells disaster for a Yankees team that hasn't been in the playoffs for 2 years.
It isn't even that good.
Well, they were a team that picked to be last in the division.
Yeah,
Like,
I picked them last for sure.
by a distance too.
Yeah. They've really surprised a lot of people, including me. But I still will not admit that they're a good team.
They have a formula right now. They're on paper. They're not a great. They're not.
They're not.
They have a formula. If you can give me 5-6 innings with a starter, you can try it out Tanaka or Sabathia or whatever, and you can talk about Betances and Miller. 8-9 is almost as good of an automatic out as you can get in Major League Baseball right now.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, they're just that good. Miller's slider that he throws to right-handers is unbelievable.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah. So, Taylor, how we doing out there, bud?
Things are going pretty great. Jets are about to seal the deal with the Dolphins. They just missed a field goal, but they're up 27-7, so
All right.
it should be a win.
Jets, Jets. That is awesome. Jets are definitely one of those teams that are coming out of nowhere. They're going from nowhere to now here.
Yeah.
A little bit of
I know. I hear.
deepness.
I see what you did
You
there.
see what I did there?
I liked it.
NOWHER.
No, I liked it.
Yeah, but
But talk to me about the playoffs real quick. We got 5 minutes left in the show here.
we got 5 minutes left. I'm going to do a quick rundown. We have, let's see, assuming all goes well here, the Astros are going to take on the Yanks. Their wild card.
Yeah, it'll be.
And I think
Tuesday.
I honestly think that the Astros will will win that game.
Do they have
with,
Keuchel lined up for that game though?
No, I don't. I think they Keuchel will be on 3 days rest, and he's never pitched on 3 days rest.
See, we have Tanaka going for that game.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying if the Astros lineup, here's a weird stat for you guys, is 70% of the time when they hit 2 or more home runs. When they hit 1 or less home runs, the Astros lineup that is, they win 20% of the time.
Okay.
Huge difference there.
And as we just talked,
And it's going to
about,
be in Houston, or it's going to be in Yankees.
We just talked about. Like I said, Minute Maid Park is a gigantic park, and we're talking about 314 feet to right field.
Yeah.
Which plays like 270 at times because of that current going out. So yes, it's going to be if they hit those 2 home runs, fine. I'll give you that. But at the same time, this is the Yankees.
But if
team.
the Yankees can hold them for 7 innings, it's game over.
Yankees are second in the league in home runs.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. But
Yeah.
Yankees 7, 8, 9, game over. The Yankees have the best bullpen in the league.
I understand that, and it's just the fact that you have to get there. You have to get 6 innings from Tanaka.
And that's something, honestly, if the Yankees get past, they're not, no matter what, Blue Jays are moving on to the ALCS.
You think so?
I think so. The Blue Jays are moving on to the ALCS. I think the Rangers are a force to be reckoned with, but I think it's going to be the Angels and the Royals, or the Rangers and the Royals are going to come out top. The Royals are going to lose to Blue Jays. I think the Blue Jays are going to go all the way here to the World
You
Series.
got them going, huh?
I'm going. And
Partying like it's 1993 in Toronto.
Exactly. And I honestly, before the year, I'm pretty happy. Before the year, I did pick Blue Jays to win the AL East, and I'm extremely proud of that pick because that was kind of a questionable pick. I did think this is their year. I thought they were a better team than this. I mean, they made some great accusations at the deadline.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely unbelievable. Their GM is just awesome. Really young guy, really trying to win a championship, and I think he will have a very good shot at that. I think they're going to go to the World Series. I think it's going to be the Dodgers coming out of the West, or the West. Dodgers are going to be coming out of the NL West, and I think it's going to be the Dodgers, Blue Jays, and I think the Dodgers are going to win it. I think Clayton Kershaw is going to have finally a good postseason.
Okay.
He owns 5.12 ERA in the postseason. I think Kershaw's really going to step up his game, and I think he's going to get it.
We can talk about who we think is going to win the playoffs for baseball. We can talk about this stat or that stat. We can talk about whatever. But I think you can maybe agree with me on this. It is so exciting to watch playoff baseball in October. It just has a different feel than watching some game at 1 o'clock in August. I don't know if I can do it justice trying to explain it to you right now, but the atmosphere, it's getting chilly in the air.
Yeah.
It's just something different about playoff baseball.
Definitely.
And it's exciting to watch. So, I mean, if you're a fan that is just casually following the game for the first time,
Watch this.
do yourself a favor and watch some playoff baseball.
It really is. It really is phenomenal. I had the opportunity of going to the first playoff game in Cleveland since 2008 in 2013, and that was just, that was my first playoff game ever.
Yeah.
Going to, obviously, because I'm a Cleveland fan. Unreal atmosphere. You hit the nail right on the head. Unreal atmosphere. Crazy. It just gets you, if you fall in love with baseball there. You really appreciate baseball in October.
You have
really
to.
do.
I mean,
It's the best of the best. It is, every game means something. 162 games is a long season, but every game means something.
No, I understand. It's a chess match at all times.
Yeah.
It's different opposing styles that you get to match up all the time. It's fun to watch. It's fun to be a part of,
Yeah,
and we really both encourage you to check it out.
Yeah.
And to build on that, we both encourage you to please come back and check us out next week.
Come back, call in.
We'll be here.
864-656-1226.
We'll be here at 10 o'clock tomorrow, or Sunday morning.
Sunday morning.
And we're really looking forward to it. Really appreciate you guys tuning in, and we hope you have a great rest of Sunday and enjoy some football.
Yes, sir.